Good morning and welcome into the Alexandra Bowling Club in Central Otago for the final day of the Summerset National Mixed Pairs, the inaugural edition of this tournament, bringing you 3 games here on Sky Sport Next today, starting with this quarterfinal between Craig Merrilees and Claire Hendra up against Sheldon Bagri-Howley and Selena Smith. We are underway on the first end. We will have a semi-final to follow this, and then of course the final from around 3:30 this afternoon. I'm Brenton Vinisroy. Alongside me in commentary as always is Kevin Hickland. Very good morning to you, Kevin.
Good morning, Brenton, and what a magnificent day looking out at the hills around us here at Alexandra. Another beautiful day, weather superb, no wind, the green running around about 16 seconds, so the final day of the Summerset National Fours and Mixed Pairs is certainly going to have a continuation of that wonderful weather which we have had throughout this event. And it's great to see within these this last 8 that are here, there's a good assembly from around the country of players, Wellington, Northland, the Nick Butter and his fourth-year player, Tracy Clark from Burnside. So it's a very, very good cross-section of from the 204 entries that lined up in section play 2 days ago, and of course 4 rounds of post-section play yesterday, and now through to the last 8 of this fantastic event.
Yeah, exhausting day.
Certainly it's a long day
yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, Kevin. Yeah, we started at 8:15, and here at the Alexandra Bowling Club just after 8 o'clock, the last of our quarterfinalists was found, that being Sheldon Bagri-Howley and Selena Smith. And you would say that this quarterfinal here, having looked at the post-section draw, this was probably the only quarterfinal you might have predicted. The rest, there have been a number of upsets. We've seen the departure of Gary Lawson and Dale Rayner in the round of 16. Lance Pascoe and Andy Boyd went out in the round of 32. Seamus Curtin and Taylor Bruce went out in the round of 16. Robbie Bird and Val Smith went out. Also lost Joe Edwards and Mike Carroll in the round of 32 also in the post-section play today. So a number of surprises, a number of new faces emerging as they look to take out the inaugural Summerset National Mixed Pairs title here at Central Otago.
In saying that, Ben, but we've also got, like if we look at the Ben King-Helen King combination, Ben, a former New Zealand player, Helen also winner of New Zealand singles, played in the World Champion singles. Nick Butter, of course, won a New Zealand fours, playing with Ryan Bester, in fact, in Christchurch. Anne Muir, who won the New Zealand pairs with Caroline Crawford, and also, of course, played for New Zealand for a number of years. John and Cherie Bryan of Stokes Valley and Wellington, 2 of the really up-and-coming players in the Wellington region, and certainly do a lot for the Stokes Valley club. They're great. They're certainly great for the sport. So, yes, the big names aren't there, but there's certainly some results and quality within the
undoubtedly, they deserve their place here, having come through exhausting day. Some of them only had to play 3 rounds of post-section play, but the majority 4 rounds. 3-0 has gone on the opening end. Sheldon Bagri-Howley and Selena Smith. If you are new to this format of mixed pairs, it's 2-4-2. So in the first end, we had Selena Smith and Craig Merrilees play their first 2 bowls. Then Sheldon Bagri-Howley and Claire Hendra bowled all 4 of theirs. And then Merrilees and Smith had their final 2 to complete the opening end, and then it switches round. So now we're having Sheldon Bagri-Howley and Claire Hendra to bowl their first 2. Looks like a pretty handy start from Sheldon Bagri-Howley, right in behind the jack and their toucher.
Well, we know Sheldon Bagri-Howley, we saw last year, his ability as a lead when he led for Gary Lawson in the Summerset National Fours at Mount Maunganui, of course, where they ran out the winners. And Sheldon Bagri-Howley, normally known to play further up in the team, has proven to be a very, very proficient lead as we watch Claire Hendra. What a great response. And Claire Hendra, in fact, draws a side toucher, sitting right on top of the jack with her first bowl, of which she'll play 2 in this first duet, and then change over. And Selena Smith and Craig Merrilees of Southland, they will then play their 4 bowls.
Sheldon Bagri Howley in his Gore colours, of course, his Gore Rams teammates he's playing against, and Craig Merrilies and Claire Hendra.
Is that a bit of promotion for Dion Nash there? I see on the back of Selena Smith's shirt there, Triumphs and Tragedy. It's Dion Nash's brand.
It's Triumph and Disaster, isn't it?
Triumph and Disaster, is it? Sorry, Dion.
Well, you're giving him a free plug anyway.
Yeah,
he'll appreciate that. Another good bowl from Claire Hendra, although unfortunately for her, may have just lost the shot. But very close between that Sheldon Bagri Howley 2-shade bowl and the Claire Hendra pinky red bowl with white specks.
Oh, I did give them another bowl on the head. Yes, even though one down, another good bowl on the head. The sun now just starting to come out over the top of the hills here at Alexandra, and that's sort of an indication that we're in for a bonza day, as we've had on so many of the days down here around in central Otago. And Brenton, you did a bit of trooping around the greens yesterday, around the more rural areas of central Otago. It's pretty good, isn't it?
Oh, beautiful part of the world, undoubtedly. Yeah, absolutely loved it. So first thing yesterday morning with the Bowls New Zealand President Mark O'Connor, is this one's just going to slide past the head from Selena Smith. We went out to Roxburgh, which was hosting some of the post-section play. Absolutely beautiful out there. And, of course, the home of Jimmy's Pies. So we had to indulge, of course, even though I'd already had my breakfast. Had to indulge in a breakfast pie. And then we made our way to the Clyde Bowling Club, which he saw some great play out there. Sandra Keith and Pete Hodson were playing out there, as was Mark Noble. And in the end, it was Bronwyn Stevens and Roger Stevens, the Southlanders, now based out of Dunedin, who progressed from that part of post-section play in Clyde. Then I was out to Bannockburn, where you saw how beautiful that part of the country is as well.
Might get the side of the jack here. Just rolls the bowl out. There's Selena Smith, and that would leave the Hendra bowlers, the Murrays and Hendra holding the shop. Yeah, I had the pleasure the day before of going out to Waipiata, Patiora and Omakau, and these little clubs with around under 30 members. But what fantastic greens, great facilities, and certainly made you more than welcome. I had the pleasure at Patiora of spending some time with Andrew Hawes' grandmother, Danella, 96-year-old.
Wow.
Still playing bowls.
Fantastic.
Still driving the car, bottling the tomatoes, and has been a member of the Patiora Bowling Club for 60 years. Was born in Naseby, just down the road, and really hasn't moved very, very far. And yeah, it was great to meet with her and talking to her. We were talking about their station, beef and sheep station called Stonehenge. I did a little look afterwards, and it's a bit more than a farm. It's 7,600 hectares. So it's pretty. And Andrew Hoare is now farming the station, and he's the fourth generation of the Hoare family who's been on this station for 110 years.
Fantastic.
So to spend time with the people, like the greenkeeper at Omakau, who's been doing the greens for around about 50 years, been doing the one green.
Wow.
There, and yeah, so to get around those Central Otago greens, it's been. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, you've been made to feel so welcome, weren't you? The hospitality's been second to none. Obviously, we're in the fruit bowl of the country here as well, so some fantastic fruit as well. Tried some pluots, which we were given at Clyde, which are a combination of plums and apricots. So that was a new one for me, but beautiful nectarines and peaches and everything down here.
The accommodation that we're staying at, the little cottage we're staying at in Clyde Tinker's Cottage, in fact, they gave us a whole fruit bowl of plums and nectarines.
Yeah.
So it's been
at
great.
all the clubs, there's been big fruit bowls, and they just continue to get stocked up. And yeah, we've been very, very well looked after. Very lucky here in Central Otago.
And a big thank you to the ladies out at Patiaroa who made sure there was plate of cream scones there for myself and Alex Wiley also. There was cream scones and jams all brought out. So, no, the hospitality down here in Central Otago has been outstanding. And the greens that have been presented as well have been superb. And that's evident if we look at the head we're looking at now with Craig Merrilies and holding the shot, Claire Hendren's the 2 shots. Look at the closeness of the head here, Brenton. You can see, that the good greens certainly help to put good bowls in place, and that's. But we see Bagri Howley now. He's going to be narrow under the line, trying to reach down to the trail shot to where there's 2 Selena Smith bowls sitting out to the side of the ring. Of course, 16 ends in these games, no time limit, and these are quarterfinal onwards as Claire Hendra makes her way back to the mat to play.
Yeah, 2 hours, 3/4 time limit for section play, and also the first 4 rounds of post-section play yesterday. Still meant for a long day.
Very long day.
Bagri Howley and Smith's round of 16 game going all the way to the wire. They came from 11-5 down, did Bagri Howley and Smith, to secure their place in the quarterfinals. Smith looking for a gold star. Has 4 national titles to her name, looking for that 5th. Interested in this one is Merrilies. And happy with that because...
certainly sits in that trail spot. Now, just a little... I hope we're not going to have too much of this walking up and down business, because in 2-4-2, the walking's done in between the bowls. It's not really...
Yeah, from what I've seen, though, this happens quite a lot, unfortunately. Yeah, of course, there's more crossover, isn't there, with the 2-4-2?
Absolutely.
The format, but no, I think given these crunch games, we're going to see a bit of this. And I've certainly seen it even in section play on Monday. And took a keen interest. First time I've really sat and watched it live. 2-4-2, the format, see how it all unfolds. Sheldon Bagri Howley making his way back to the mat.
Yeah, there's been all sorts of pairs, combinations tried, even internationally. World Bowls at one stage, it was 4x4 pairs, so you played your...
Wow.
That was a marathon. I can understand.
Yeah, of course, it's 3x3. There's Bagri Howley. Change of approach from his previous. Knocks away one of the Merrilies bowls. It's the white and light blue bowls. All 2 shades. Still holding 2, the Merrilies Hendra combination.
Well, Claire Hendra played the cover bowl with her first bowl of this at the end, last 2 bowls of the second end, and no doubt Claire Hendra will play there again, but of course can bring a line in fractionally, because now Sheldon Bagri Howley with no bowls left on this the second end can certainly draw up on that forehand to that counting position. There was a bowl, got to get past the front bowl, the Craig Merrilies front bowl, as it breaks its way down towards the head. Looks to be under that bowl, but may well get in for shot. Just going to wait. Don't think so.
Is it just short? 2's taken away.
Craig Merrilies having a good look at it. And it's just
happy with just 2. So they're on the board, Craig Merrilies and Claire Hendra. It's now Sheldon Bagri Howley and Selena Smith leading Merrilies and Hendra 3-2 after 2 of the 16 ends. And this mixed pairs quarterfinal here from the final day of these Summerset Nationals in Central Otago. Of course, there are 3 other quarterfinals going on. We'll keep you up to date as well, nearing the end of the second end on a couple of those. So once those are completed, I'll have a chance to quickly peer out the window and see what those scores are as well.
So Jack's been delivered by Craig Merrilies, the Southlander, right to the 2 metre mark. And Merrilies, the winner of a number of South Island or Southland titles, of course, and part of the Southland representative side, and also very, very well known for his achievements in the indoor and the PBA branch, where he's played in for a number of years and played in the New Zealand, the Trans-Tasman event, which they host each year. falls short by about a metre and a bit with his first. Selena Smith on the back end, the Takapuna player, looking for her gold star, of course, defeated earlier on in the week in the final of the women's fours.
Yeah, she'll be hoping it's third time lucky as far as finals go this year. Already been in a couple of finals, pairs and in the fours.
As I say, the Victoria Bowling Club contingent arriving, because Victoria again, Brendan.
It's quite incredible, isn't it?
Keeping their name to the forefront in these national events, aren't they?
Yeah, the Kings and Sarah Tokomo and Laurie Guy through to the quarterfinals, and separate quarterfinals as well. And then you got the Bryans as well, another Wellington combination, of course, playing out of Stokes Valley. So the big capital contingent made it through to the last 8 here of the Summerset National Mixed Pairs. But as Kevin touched on, we've got Southland represented, we've got Northland represented as well. And then Nick Butter, who was out of Auckland, now out of Queenstown. Tracy Clark plays out of Christchurch. So a lot of the country is represented in these final 8.
Claire Hendra adds to the Wellington.
Yeah, Silverstream as well.
Silverstream Bowling Clubs. It's another one there, of course. And so, yeah, there is a very... If we were talking about the centres of this particular Nationals, hats off to Northland, because, you know, through to the through to the semi-final of the men's fours, lost on next round. Anne Muir, the last 8 of the women's fours, and is still here today, of course, in the mixed pairs.
Yeah, with Paul Price.
And I think that there was a Northland team that got knocked out in the latter stages yesterday. I was led to believe. So full marks. Northland made the big journey down here.
Well, that's the thing. It's a long way away. You can understand the Southland and maybe Otago combinations doing well at their more local event, but for Northland teams to come down here and several of them to have success, certainly been a very good week for the Northland Centre. There's no doubt about that. Sheldon Bagri Howley out of Southland, the Gore Club.
On the forehand, it just question, how's that far as that weight going to go? It looks as though this will definitely be the shot. It'll just go past the Craig Merrill's bowl, finish lower the jack by a couple of feet on that forehand side of the rink, and I'm sure Claire Hendra will follow that bowl of Sheldon Bagri Howley's. Of course, both in the bowls 3-5.
Yeah, all 4 of them bowled 3-5. No doubt that's how Sheldon Bagri Howley and Selena Smith decided to play together in the Summerset National Mixed Pairs.
Hendra just going to get in front of the Sheldon Bagri Howley bowl, sit alongside the jack, and just slightly jack height, bowl by the 4 times what was the New Zealand fours title holder of last year, and of course part of the blackjack squad. Sheldon Bagri Howley coming past the jack, just going to sit on the centre line, sits by about a metre in this 2-4-2 combination. Back bowls are absolutely essential. Look at that, pan that view over, look over those hills there now, Brendan. Certainly it's a pretty majestic looking view we've got sitting out here, looking out down towards Clyde. Absolutely fantastic scenery.
Yeah, you come to take it for granted. I know that's certainly the case from going around the clubs yesterday. It's a beautiful setting at Roxburgh. They have only one of those clubs, only got 25 odd members, and yet they've got 2 greens there at Roxburgh. And right next to Jimmy's Pies, and so for lunch was Jimmy's Pies, which comes straight from the oven just down the road, some 100 metres tops, brought up to the bowling club.
Sheldon Bagri Howley needs to sit inside his own and fall in, and does, and that'll make shot. Well, because Mark O'Connor and myself the day before at Omakau, we had been told we've got to go to get the pies from Omakau, all set to do so, only to find out they were closed on.
Yeah, so we had them yesterday, Kevin. So yeah, we're treated to the pies at Ormako.
Mind you, we were treated to a very, very nice lunch though at the Waipiata Hotel, sitting out on the sunshine on the deck.
Yeah, And if you are keeping count, yes, I did have 2 pies yesterday. I don't know if a day's gone past where I haven't had a pie down here. Obviously at the Alexandra Bowling Club, quite often for lunch, there's a pie option. It'd be rude to say no, really. Sheldon Baggery Howley.
Trying to make 2. And just on a good line again. So it's going to sit and stay on the bowl. Yes, it will. And that would make 2 shots.
Would make 2, wouldn't it?
You would think so.
So taking a look at this, Merrilies and Hendra.
Well, really the shot is just to, my view, looks to be a good draw on that forehand side. And I see that Claire Hendra has got the deepest bowl down there under the number. Number 3, you'll see it there. And, of course, there's a Sheldon Baggery Howley bowl in behind there as well. But on that forehand draw, of course, if Craig Merrilies was to get a touch of the jack, there's also a Claire Hendra bowl in that touch position as well. There was a lot of talk travelling around the greens, Brenton, about the shot that John Gray played in that last year to the men's. It was very, very much a talking point. Merrilies looks to be on the drive to those bowls, playing with weighted shot to try and get under the head and to ricochet the bowls out of the head, cannon them right out of the head, and in fact got one of his own as well, got one of the counters, 1 down. The front bowl, Sheldon Baggery Howley's, is definitely the shot. Second shot, the Claire Hendra bowl, which is locked in that line of 3 bowls.
Yeah, so he has reduced the count there, Merrilies. So I need to go with that more aggressive option on the backhand and playing with weight rather than just the draw on the forehand, which Kevin mentioned as a potential option. We'll see what Selena Smith decides to do after staying at the head. Now makes her way back to the mat.
Well, of course, if Selena Smith can get a touch on the jack and move it round the corner, certainly makes the shot option more limited for Craig Merrilies with his last bowl. And Sheldon Baggery Howley trying to encourage this Selena Smith bowl into the head, and it's breaking towards the jack now. Is it going to get enough? Not quite. And they needed a couple of more rolls near that. And yes, Craig Merrilies indicating with his hand where to play, and that's certainly, Craig, that's certainly the place to play following that Selena Smith forehand draw. Just get underneath it, touch the jack yourself, and you can make 2 shots of it with Craig Merrilies' bowl.
Yeah, that blue and white bowl.
Sitting just in behind.
Previous effort, so it certainly looks like the plan of attack here for Merrilies. Best part of the day to be playing bowls. Sun just starting to take hold, really pouring now into the Alexandra Bowling Club. It's not too warm as of yet, but if you give it another hour, it'll be quite toasty. And then early afternoon, it is really hot for the players out there. And I've only added to what have been some long days, especially yesterday, with 4 rounds of post-section play scheduled at a number of the venues. It was almost 12 hours out on the greens for a number of the players. I know for some it was just too much. It got really exhausted. Couldn't handle it.
He needs to get under the bowl clean. It was a sterling effort. He was only, he just got a feather on the bowl and was certainly on line to get that shot that Brent and I were talking about, the draw to just touch the jack. And when the sun does really come out in the afternoon, it is toasty. There's no humidity. It's just, it's really toasty.
And there's been very little wind to cool off the play. We had a bit on Sunday and Monday, but again, very little yesterday. Smith, this one doesn't look like it's going to change the situation. Does knock out the back bowl. If it falls in, does it make a difference?
Well, the shot for Merrilies now is... Oh, he's gone. Of course, he's played his 2, isn't he?
So,
not sure whether that bowl
is it enough to get a second?
Or not.
We'll wait and see when Claire Hendra is about to update the scoreboard for us. You can see in shot there. And so we'll see how much it is. It is just the 1. So 4-2. Now, Sheldon Baggery Howley and Selena Smith leading Craig Merrilies and Claire Hendra. That's after 3 now of the 16 ends. I think originally it was planned to have a 18 end contest, and then when they realised that to get through 4 rounds of section play, it was trimmed back to 16. Seeing the scoreboard updated on rank number 5, so we'll have an update for you very shortly there. After 2 ends in the quarterfinal between Sarah Tokamore and Laurie Guy up against Nick Butter and Tracy Clark, it is the Victoria combination who have a 4-1 lead. That's after 2 ends of the 16. It is 5-0 to the Bryans over Paul Price and Anne Muir, happening on rank 6. 5-0 after 3 of the 16 ends. And hopefully I should be able to check out the scoreboard very shortly. There's a few players obstructing the scoreboard. Bronwyn Stevens, Roger Stevens up against Ben and Helen King. It looks like 6-0 to Bronwyn and Roger Stevens after 3 ends, but can't really see the scoreboard. May need to get some assistance like we've had previous days from one of the Alexandra Bowling Club members to help us out.
So the first bowl of Sheldon Beggy-Halley just slightly lower the jack. So we start the 4th end with Selena Smith and Sheldon Beggy-Halley leading Craig Merrilees and Claire Hendra by 4 shots to 2. And this bowler, Claire Hendra, is now coming in towards the jack. Great line, just going to go right to the centre line, sits right in behind the jack and will certainly be shot. These two certainly put in with their first 2 bowls, or both lots of the 4, and certainly putting pressure on with their early bowls, which makes it all for a good head. As we see this bowl of Sheldon Beggy-Halley's just rest on his first bowl, just lower the jack as Hendra goes to her forehand side. Silverstream player, Wellington Bowler of the Year last year, deservedly so. Looks to be a wee bit under the line with this bowl. Craig Merrilees watching it closely, would need to sit on something, not go to do so. Just slides by.
And of course, Claire Hendra last year winning the National Fours title and runner-up in the pairs. This year made the final, of course, at the Fours on Sunday. Beaten by Andy Boyd. And now looking to make yet another national final. There's a big hurdle to overcome here, though, with Sheldon Beggy-Halley and Selena Smith. Sheldon Beggy-Halley, that development squad, sits just under the Blackjacks. Selena Smith, of course, a Blackjack, and as I mentioned previously, looking for that 5th national title and a gold star. Has a singles title, a pairs title, and 2 fours titles. And has actually made the last 2 national finals in the pairs and also in the fours, but has been on the losing side of those, so hoping 3rd time lucky to claim that gold star. Of course, on the flip side, it was Lee Griffin who claimed her gold star for her 5th national title. Another great player out of Wellington, Lee Griffin, having her 4th fours title as part of that Mandy Boyd combination.
But if you look, Brendan, at both the Summerset national singles and pairs and now the fours and mixed pairs, if we look at the women, firstly, that if you were to take Claire Hendra, Taylor Bruce, Selena Smith and Val Smith, they've actually put on some pretty consistent performances. Like Val Smith won the pairs, and Selena Smith and Claire Hendra have been, they've been all thereabout. Of course, we had Mandy Boyd winning the fours and beaten in the semi-final of the singles. But really, they've in the final of the singles, Mandy Boyd beaten. So a good bowl coming in here, just gonna drop low. And to be blunt, more than likely the New Zealand squad players have been perhaps more consistent in their overall results than some of the men.
Oh, undoubtedly. Undoubtedly. They've been through all the finals where we've seen a few surprises and different champions in the men. Obviously, Jamie Hill was part of the Blackjack squad, now unavailable, is unable to give the time for those international commitments, and he won the Peers, of course, with Lance Pascoe, who, as Kevin has mentioned in commentary previously, should be probably knocking on the door of national selection, international honours.
Well, Mike Kernan, of course, with Lance Pascoe, defeated in the final of the fours, and that amazing final we had here on Sunday, as you watched.
That include obviously Shannon McElroy, but he's now taking a sabbatical from international play, so going to have to look at some other options. We had Mike Galloway, who's really a part-time bowler, win the singles, and at the start of the year. And so a few different faces coming to the top in men's bowls, whereas in the women's game, all of those who are part of that blackjack squad or part of the development squad certainly have performed.
Well, Lance Pascoe would have to be seen as the most consistent of the non-blackjack sort of players, you'd say, wouldn't you, with both the Peers and defeated finalists in the fours, so must be close to getting the interest of the selectors, one would think, as we see Selena Smith with the Claire Hendra bowling behind the jack shot, with Sheldon Bagley-Howley and Selena Smith leading 4-2 after 3 of 16 ends. And Selena Smith trying to get down to the bowler Claire Hendra, gets a touch on it. Great effort, just rolled it in. Great effort.
Yeah, there's a number of close bowls. We watched the closing stages of their round of 16 game last night. Had one where Sheldon Bagley-Howley knocked 2 bowls, which were sitting, opposition bowls, which were sitting right in front of the head. Managed to get through them. The 2 bowls rocked and then moved back into their spot as if they'd never been touched. And then Selena Smith pretty much did exactly the same thing as well. It was quite an incredible couple of bowls, but they did enough to come through after trailing 11-5. They ended up prevailing 15-12, I think the final score was, in their round of 16 game to get to this position to take on Craig Merrilies and Claire Hendra.
You go back to that men's final when you saw Kelvin Scott with his first bowl draw a front toucher, and you'd think that's a pretty handy start in the last end, but was beaten on the draw.
I think Alex Reid, who looks after the chart room here, has a similar story to tell.
Drive.
Oh, you can tell as well by the reaction of Sheldon Bagley-Howley and how his bowls turned out. Oh, he's very colourful on the green. There we go. We're going to break out into a run as he connected there.
I would leave them holding 2 shots, Brendan.
Yeah, I think so.
Certainly. No more. Just got to wait for Craig Merrilies to move, because there's the Sheldon Bagley-Howley
It's the
bowls.
purple and white bowls, aren't they, of Bagley-Howley? Yes, it could be holding 4 here.
So just when that camera came around again, all those look like 2 of Selena Smith's bowls and 2 of Sheldon Bagley-Howley's bowls.
Yeah, I thought one of the bowls may have been the light blue and white bowl of Merrilies, but no, they were shown to be elsewhere on the green.
So on the backhand is Claire Hendra trying to get down to the jack. Looks to be on a fairly good line to the jack, and we'll say this is well played by the Silverstream player. 4 down, and runs the jack into the ditch on the backhand. That was a superb shot. You'll see the bowl of Claire Hendra is sitting right near the lip of the green, and the marker.
And Selena Smith's going to give us a marker. Thank you, Selena. And obviously to help Sheldon Bagley-Howley as well.
Well,
so that's where the jack is, and so that's pretty much impossible to beat.
They could be holding 3 now, Brendan.
They've certainly got 2, haven't they? Because they've got the bowl right there on the ditch, and then that bowl out to the right-hand side. And it just depends how far away that other bowl, which is deep but looks towards the other peg, is.
So it was at least a 6-shot turnaround, wasn't it?
Oh, great bowl from Claire Hendra after an equally great bowl from Sheldon Bagley-Howley. Good effort.
Obviously sat on the shot bowl.
If he set the shot bowl as a toucher, so it wouldn't have changed thing, but obviously would have stayed up, hopefully, if he had got connection there with the shot bowl, and would have made it certainly just 1. But now, Claire Hendra has a chance to turn a big number here. You'd think they're holding at least 2, and it could be 3 or 4.
And Sheldon Bagri-Howley, of course, played his last 2 bowls on this, the 4th end. So the opportunity for Claire Hendra to add to the count on the forehand. It was a well-played, controlled run shot on the backhand to get the jack as well-judged shot.
Oh, this is more what we've come to expect with Claire Hendra, haven't we? We mentioned it in commentary in the fours final. She just didn't seem to be able to get in her usual rhythm, but she's been quite outstanding to start here. Would have wanted that to roll a few more times. 3 fingers were held up by Craig Merrilees, so from being potentially 4 down on the head to pick up 3, that's a great result, and they take the lead. Craig Merrilees and Claire Hendra now leading Sheldon Bagri-Howley and Selena Smith 5-4. That's after 4 ends, 4 of the 16 ends, so a quarter of the way through this quarterfinal. 3 other quarterfinals, of course, all taking place here at the Alexandra Bowling Club on green number 1. And we'll bring you up to date with those as the jack is given away by Craig Merrilees.
Well, it turned out as a 7-shot turnaround, that backhand run shot by Claire Hendra.
Yeah, from being potentially 8-2 down, they're now 5-4 up. That is quite an important bowl.
Absolutely.
Certainly won't be too disappointed that she wasn't able to draw another when she executed so expertly with her previous.
So is the jack going to go into the ditch again? It looks like it is. So as Craig Merrilees had also delivered the jack into the ditch, the jack will automatically be placed on the 2-metre mark, and Craig Merrilees and Claire Hendra can make their decision now of where they wish to have the mat placed, and they have brought the mat up. You can see there, up from the 2-metre mark. So Wayne, a 3/4 length head, Merrilees from Southland on the backhand. Green running around 16 seconds. The temperature today is tipped to get up to 26 degrees here today. And so we'll see the green run at around about 17-second mark throughout the day as we see the first bowl of Craig Merrilees just run by the jack, only by a couple of feet. Selena Smith now, Takapuna Club in Auckland on her forehand, as Brendan said, holding 4 New Zealand titles.
I think the only Auckland representative as well.
I would guess.
And the last 16 players here in our quarterfinals of the Summerset National Mixed Pairs.
So just finishes lower the jack, but that'll be the shot, that first bowl of Selena Smith's.
Nick Butter previously played out of Auckland some time ago now. Now they're a long time out of Queenstown.
Of course, Nick, the son of Stu Butter, the late Stu Butter. Good bowl here from Merrilees, going to draw right behind the jack and fall over it, touch her. Of course, Nick won national fours titles, played with Gary Lawson, played for New Zealand for a number of years, and then went on to be the New Zealand coach and played out of the Burnside Club in Christchurch. Really nice fella. Worked for the Customs Department, did Stewie, and he just passed away too young, sadly, but good to see Nick's mum, Lorna, here today, who's now living in Dunedin. Of course, the peers that have played at Burnside every year are a memorial tournament to Stu Butter, who did a fantastic job as a Bolt New Zealand coach and was a great player as well. He won 3 New Zealand titles. Did Stu?
And of course, Nick Butter playing with Burnside's Tracy Clark as well.
4th-year player.
Yeah, so we've got obviously Sheree Bryan is still a junior as well.
Absolutely. Of course, was part of the Stokes Valley Bowls 3-5 side that got beaten in the final in Nainai last year.
Yeah, the Bowls 3-5 National Interclub, wasn't it, for
the junior
junior bowlers?
Defeated by the Liam Paulson skipped
That's
Counties Manukau, Papakura side.
Yeah, so it's great to see some of those junior bowlers, and obviously we've got the couples as well, which is good to see. There's some theory going around that couples don't usually play as well together, but that's certainly been debunked here at the Summerset National Mixed Pairs, and you've got the Stephens, the Kings, the Bryans.
Great effort here from Selden Bagley Howley. Just sits just in behind the shot bowl of Craig Merrilies, which of course is sitting right on the jack, with Merrilies and Hendra leading 5-4 after 4 of the 16 ends. Claire Hendra trying to get through this port. Don't think she's got the weight to get through the port to get to add to the count of the Craig Merrilies bowl. That's going to be well short. It's about 3 metres short of the jack, well short. So Bagley Howley will endeavour just to try and get through the port to the bowl. Playing with a yard more weight, trying to get to the jack. He's close. He's close to it. Got it clean.
And that won't be killed. That'll just be into the ditch. So 2 ends in a row. Jack's ended up in the ditch. Selena Smith quickly marking that one. That's another great bowl. It's impossible to beat.
You're dead right, Peter. That's sitting literally
on the jack, isn't it?
Jack,
by the looks of that mark from Selena Smith.
Just holding the one is the Sheldon Bagley Howley combination. You can see the grey and blue ring bowls of Craig Merrilies sitting back there as well as Claire Hendra. Now she may well have made 2 of that.
Yeah, it's a signal by Selena Smith.
That was the Selena Smith bowl that she rocked into, and got a couple of rolls out of it. And that you can see the second shot sitting right under the numbers, that number 3.
And Selena Smith was indicating that the shot bowl is within an inch of the jack. I suppose that Bagley Howley here won't want to give Claire Hendra a bowl that she can just sit on.
Who want to count, but stay away from any slide positions. And this is not going to hold up. It's going to.
Selena Smith making sure it didn't disturb the shot bowl and the jack in the ditch. So collecting it just as it was running off the green.
Okay, try it, you go. It's incredibly, like, he's literally that far off it.
Yeah,
one of the things that they're looking at is to try and get the Craig Merrilies toucher into the ditch, which would leave them holding the one shot. That's the shot that Claire Hendra, just trying to see which is the marked bowl of.
It's hard to tell when they're mostly white bowls, isn't it? with the spray or the chalk.
Definitely playing with a lot of weight to try and search to get to the Craig Merrilies toucher, but runs into with her own bowl.
So I'll be up to Craig Merrilies to have a go with his last couple now to try and get second. That's basically what they're aiming for. Not going to be able to steal the shot from Bagley Howley and Smith. Good second will be the aim. Bagley Howley will try and pile the pressure on here. This looks like it should be good enough for if it holds up, but it's not going to. Oh, I thought halfway down it looked decent weight, but a couple rolls too many.
Talking to the players of the day in the Lance Pesco game in the semi-final, they remarked that your bowl literally had to be just about to stop about a metre out from the ditch, because there was still quite a bit of free running in that last metre.
Yeah.
Down to woods, because if we remember back to that men's semi-final that we saw, the Whangarei reader, the skip, it looked as though the bowl was actually going to sit on the just about on the lip, and it just tipped itself.
If it's still moving in that last metre, it's can keep moving into the ditch, and that was maybe an example we just saw there with Bagley Howley. There's Merrilies searching for that touch hit Kevin mentioned. Has he got it right this time? Well, is that the touch hit, by the way? No. No.
Well, it could have still made it one.
Yeah, because the one that he
Brendan.
could have promoted was just coming behind it. May well be a touch it.
Sheldon Bagley Howley just indicating to Selena Smith, try and
Stop it there.
draw a couple of feet out from the ditch on that backhand side. So here's Smith on the backhand. Certainly taking a lot of green with this particular bowl to try and get it just to creep its way to draw in. Is it going to stay up? Or
That's the problem. We've seen that previously as well. That hasn't got inside the pegs. And we saw that a number of times, didn't we?
Certainly did.
In our coverage on Sunday, on the final day of the Summerset National Fours, where it's a very tough line, especially on the backhand side, it seems.
Yeah, you just get out that fraction and you certainly don't get that kindness of the draw back towards the centre line. Here it is again, still on the search for that toucher. So one would think then that he's still 2 down with playing that shot with that weight, trying to get down to this bowl, jar the bowl out of their head. Well, that one sits up. No, it won't. But there's another Murray's bowl you'll see that got rolled over in front of the shot bowl. It's
Still two. So I assume that the bowl out to the left must be the toucher then.
Yeah, must be, yeah.
Because two have been taken out, have been put into the ditch and didn't stay there.
Interesting here. Sheldon Bagley Howley indicating to Selena Smith, try and play across the head to that, which is the third shot. And you may be able to actually make 4 of it if you can get the Murray's bowl into the ditch. So here's now Selena Smith trying to get past. If it gets past, she'll count then, obviously.
If it stays up, they both stay up. Is that 3? Bagley Howley thought it was still 2.
He was confident it was 2, wasn't he?
So that's certainly, obviously, 1.
Very difficult to tell.
Kendra's having a look. Yeah, it's a tricky angle. So 2's taken away, and they're going to measure for that third one now. They're going to come to the Murray's bowl first, and then we'll go to the Selena Smith bowl. Looks pretty close between those two.
It certainly does.
Going to need an umpire to be called upon for the first time, as we've just been presented with cheese rolls, and there are only 2 on the plate.
There are. So
what has happened here?
So who's been the culprit?
We had it. What was it? What do you think about 2 plates of about 20?
Yeah, correct.
On Sunday.
Yeah.
So
Right.
who's intercepted these? Well, we could probably name a few. Umpire's going to be called here, while we can talk about the great cheese roll robbery. I'd say that some of the executive of Bowls New Zealand, no doubt, would have got there before us.
Yeah, well, we know it wouldn't be Aaron or...
Oh, no, it wouldn't be Aaron or tomorrow.
No, it wouldn't be those two. So it leans very heavily towards a couple of other culprits who are out behind the wall behind us here.
No, all seriousness, it's great. The ladies in the kitchen have very much looked after us. The local delicacy, the cheese roll.
So you'll see the umpires now, they'll pull got the big string measure out. I've got to come over the top of the jack, which is sitting in the ditch down below. And they'll come around firstly to that's the bowl of Craig Murray's.
So already holding 2, already confirmed 2 shots, just whether they've got a third or not here, Bagley, Howley and Smith. So they'll be taking back the lead. See, it's a long measure, so we've got both umpires helping out. Oh, it's very close, clearly. Coming back to the Murray's bowl. Every shot so important in these knockout games.
3 it is.
3 it is. So Selena Smith did manage to draw a third. resting on the second shot bowl. So 7-5 it is now. Sheldon Bagri-Howley and Selena Smith leading Craig Merrilees and Claire Hendra.
There's a very well drawn bowl by Selena Smith to draw literally right to the ditch board.
I might quickly make my way out around the boards as well, Kevin, so we can bring everyone up to date with the other 3 quarterfinals. Might take a cheese roll with me. That's the best way to do it, isn't it?
Absolutely. So Brendan will just leave for a sec and he'll be up with bring you the updates from the other 3 quarterfinals around the greens here on finals day of the Summerset National Mixed Pairs at the picturesque and very sunny Alexandra Bowling Club. And beautiful surroundings down here in Central Otago. We've certainly been fortunate, had great weather right throughout and had magnificent support from all of the clubs in the Central Otago region as we watch this bowl of Sheldon Bagri-Howley's just break towards the sits jack level. And full credit to the Central Otago Centre down here and all their clubs, umpires, caterers, greenkeeping staff, everybody who have done such a sterling job throughout this national fours and pairs. And the other great thing is the feedback from all of the players of how much they've thoroughly enjoyed themselves down here in Central Otago. And it certainly highlighted the destination type festival of bowls really that this the mixed pairs and fours brings, and will certainly no doubt see other regions have the opportunity in the years to come. A touch on the bowl there, a jack by Sheldon Bagri-Howley, and I'm sure in the years to come, if it's put forward by the Central Otago and agreed by Bowls New Zealand of another event of this being played in Central Otago, it would be welcome with open arms by the players and everybody involved. So it's Sheldon Bagri-Howley holding the shot and leading 7-5 after 5 of these 16 ends, as we watch this bowl of Claire Hendra just endeavouring to sit on the shot bowl, doesn't quite make its way to the shot bowl. And as the skips change over, or not skips, as they change over to play their 4 bowls each, Brenton will give you an update of the other 3 quarterfinals from around the greens.
First, an apology to make. Just been reprimanded by the greenkeeper here. There's it's not rolling too much in that last metre. Grass has not been cut at all throughout the tournament in that last metre. Players have simply been too heavy with their bowls. So I want to make an official apology. And we were not being critical of the greens. But yeah, just been given the official reprimand. Almost had the cheese roll stripped from my hand. Was deemed not worthy. So I'd like to apologise. Certainly we're not being critical of the greens, just an observation we thought we'd picked up. As I can tell you that Sarah Tokumore and Laurie Guy are leading Nick Butter and Tracy Clark 4-3. Oh, as we're getting another supply of cheese rolls. Thank you very much. Paul Price and Anne Muir leading John Bryan and Cherie Bryan 7-5. And Bronwyn and Roger Stevens are leading Ben and Helen King 7-2. Those are the other quarterfinals here at the Summerset National Mixed Pairs at the Alexandra Bowling Club in Central Otago, where conditions have been pretty much perfect throughout. Another beautiful sunny day. Those who joined us, of course, in our coverage of the final day of the Summerset National Fours. Would have seen there was a shower, but apart from that, been very little bad weather to speak of. great greens throughout the Central Otago region. There's Craig Merrilies now. On the backhand side, comes up just short. It's another very tight head.
Ideally you want me, Jack will go into our pocket. If you get the blue, you'll get it clean.
Gregory Howley.
Don't mind if you're losing your bowl, you probably need to.
Giving out some precise, detailed instructions to his partner, Selena Smith.
Great first half. Selena.
Not far away here, but by the interest that Gregory Howley has.
You need to be playing with weight through to these. Don't mind if you move that, Jack.
Nestled into a good home just past the head. Playing with that reaching weight here, Merrilies. This looks pretty handy. It should be two. Yeah, brilliant toucher from Merrilies. It fell back in as well, so two of his bowls. Holding shot. It was pretty close between his and Selena Smith's, but now I think there's no argument. They're holding couple. Looking to bounce straight back in this National Mixed Pairs quarterfinal.
So Selena Smith playing with that searching weight, doing to rock onto those front bowls and get some movement onto what are the counting bowls. And two magnificently drawn bowls there from Craig Merrilies. On the backhand is Merrilies. It goes down quickly. Don't know if he likes it. He's still quite often, of course, with the players, you can get an idea from their body language whether they like it or not. But this looks on a pretty good track as well. This bowler, Craig Merrilies, is going to get rolled all the way the Jack.
It just finishes up short.
And I suppose what it does do straight away is indicated by Sheldon Bagley-Halley, with it falling up short, and that's playing through there is nightly the highest percentage option. Face the bowl out and sitting right out to the side of the head where the Jack may well squeeze to. There's two Selena Smith bowls sitting there. Certainly there's one of Craig Merrilies in that group as well, but the best percentage shot now with that bowler Craig Merrilies coming in to the short of the head is reaching weight on the backhand, which Bagley Howley is elected to play, trying to get through the port to the bowls and squeeze the Jack out. Certainly in the area under the line to get a touch. Rocked everything around, but no change. And now makes that target quite a bit more challenging with removing that front Jack low bowl.
Yeah, he was a bit narrow, wasn't he? So he got rid of the bowl on the left-hand side of the centre line rather than that previous Merrilies bowl.
He was more than likely one bowl narrow to get that, the ultimate target of that outside bowl, which would have propelled itself towards the Jack and to squeeze the Jack then out to the side of the rink as we come to the last bowls to be played on the N6 of 16 with Selena Smith and Sheldon Bagley-Halley leading Craig Merrilies and Claire Hendra 7-5, but it is the Hendra and Merrilies combination who are holding two shots on the 16, and going out on the wide side, and deliberately so really, is Claire Hendra trying to get down to match in between the two bowls. Finishes between Jack Lowe, could have done with a wee bit more, half a metre of weight to. A very hard target to get to, especially as well with the Craig Merrilies front bowl about a metre down lower the Jack. So it has to be played, I'd say, very quickly. Now, if Sheldon Bagley-Halley elects to play the backhand, and that looks as though this is going to come quick.
Yeah, the drive coming from Bagri Howley.
And looks wide.
Oh, it's coming with some real power there. Merrill's had to react quickly for his safety.
So indicating to Claire Hendra just to draw down to hit the counting bowls on the forehand. Holding 2 shots, Hendra and Craig Merrill's. And it's on a good arc. How far is it going to come back? Certainly on a good line. Is
the weight enough? Oh, it's a great effort. Great effort. It's not going to count though, so we're all tied up here, I think.
Well,
Craig Merrill's and Claire Hendra, 7. Sheldon Bagri Howley and Selena Smith, 7.
It was only really 2 rolls away, Brendan, from actually drawing into that counting area. The match's been now placed right on the 2 metre mark by Craig Merrill's. And you can see the trees and that all around the greens here. There's absolutely no movement. Those from any wind. Just a little zephyr that pushes the flag around. And the jack may well be lost, is it? No, it's not.
It stayed up this time. I think a bit of a wry round of applause. That's a bit sarcastic from Claire Hendra that Merrill's kept it up, of course, after both Merrill's and Smith found the ditch with the jack placement. Previous time playing this direction.
So this is a full length head with the mat placed on the 2 metre mark and the jack sitting on the 2 metre mark at the other end of the rink.
Yeah, seems to be the favoured length for both sides, doesn't it? That's pretty much what we had previous end as well, that full length.
Yeah, great start of the
Great opening bowl from Craig Merrill's just in behind the jack. Well, to me, it pays a tribute to the green as well, Brendan, because obviously the players feel that, that it's got such a consistent draw on either hand that, you can draw back to the centre line. If you take your green, you're going to draw all the way back to the centre line. And that says it's a tribute to the green, as we see this bowl of Selena Smith fell well short. Merrill's now will play on his backhand. It just seems to be that when the jack gets moved, Brendan, that's where the players seem to have a bit of a challenge trying to get themselves back to the centre line. But you look at this bowl now, Craig Merrill's breaking in towards the jack. Highlights, there it is. It's a perfect draw.
Well, you judge green on the quality of the heads, don't you?
Absolutely.
And the quality of heads in the first 6 ends have been very, very good. And that certainly has been the case. When I was making my way around a few of the clubs that were hosting post-section play yesterday at Roxburgh and Clyde and Bannockburn and Macau.
Good response there from Selena Smith. Great correction on her first. Sits on the second shot bowl of Craig Merrill's, and it will be the changeover will be the Craig Merrill's and Claire Hendra holding 1 shot, and all locked up at 7 all after 7 of these 16 ends, as the sun's certainly now starting to come right over the hills. And I think we're in for a wonderful, sunny, beautiful day to be able to finish the Summerset National Mixed Pairs here at the Alexandra Bowling Club in Central Otago.
I mentioned those clubs hosting post-section play. Alexandra RSA, just down the road from us here at the Alexandra Bowling Club. Also hosting post-section. And Arrowtown, Hawea, Patearoa, Waipiata, and Wanaka. And Cromwell also amongst those hosting section play. Big thank you to all those clubs.
Thank you, Barry Bunting, of course, because the Bunting family in Burnside, originally Dunedin people, and wife Gay is very well known for her cheese rolls, as Bagri Howley gets the jack on the draw. And just got a note from Barry saying enjoying the coverage of the bowls, etc., on Sky Sport Next, and enjoy the cheese rolls. Thank you, Barry, because your lovely wife Gay has always looked after us in Christchurch at Burnside with the cheese rolls. Always has for many years. Claire Hendra now on her backhand. After Sheldon Bagley Harley just drew the jack round the corner. This is a good line here from Hendra. Just how's the weight? And get to the jack, gets a feather, slides onto the jack. It'll make 2 shots of it because that's a Craig Murley's bowl right in front as well. So Sheldon Bagley Harley, he'll follow that backhand line.
Yeah, if you see that. Yep.
Oh, and he's electing to go to the forehand. Surprised in there because that's certainly a narrow track, but he's playing with real drive weight. He's playing with trying to get all the way down. Needs a bit of luck. Ran into the front bowls. Still in the best percentage shot is what we just saw played by Claire Hendra. Now, of course, if Claire Hendra can get a touch on the jack and move it round the corner a wee bit, it certainly makes that line for the Bagley Harley Selena Smith combination a lot tighter and more difficult to get a result.
He's talking about cheese rolls. Actually getting a bit emotional that I might have just had my last cheese roll of my time here in Central Otago.
We'll have to see.
What am I going to do at morning tea time when I'm back home?
Well, see, if you're fortunate, like in Christchurch, Gay Bunting deep freezes them.
Yeah, to be fair, my fiancée, she also makes cheese rolls from Christchurch, so that, you know, they're not as good as the
great attempt
Southland efforts.
That's okay.
It's very much a delicacy in Southland, Central Otago. But, you know, they're pretty handy, so I think I might have to see if she can make a few more for me, because I'm certainly going to miss them when I return to Wellington. Yeah, we're very, very well looked after here. As I mentioned a few times, hospitality absolutely second to none in this part of the world.
Claire Hendra electing now to go to the forehand after we saw Sheldon Bagley Harley just remove one of their own bowls from the head. And it's still, of course, the Murley's Hendra combination who are holding shot. 7 all after 6 of 16 ends. Here is now Claire Hendra on her forehand on this full-length head. That's going to be under the line, trying to get to the Sheldon Bagley. That one, there's a big change, Brenton. Certainly a couple now, and there's only one bowl on the head left of the... Have to be very careful. It's correct call there, Selena. Change hands. Don't risk losing that bowl just out to the side of the jack there, because you would be 4 down. Bit of conservative play required here to get another bowl on the head, or to get to the jack, but another bowl on the head is of the utmost importance. And Sheldon Bagley Harley just going to go by. In fact, rolled the Selena Smith bowl in behind the head, and that's a pretty good outcome, really. Although
it's pretty protected there, isn't it?
It is now. It was exposed to the out there before. So, looking, I think.
Yeah, can he maybe play on the forehand side?
Oh, it's a great option.
Merrilies and get rid of that very bowl, which Bagley Harley just put in behind the head.
He can afford to play Craig Merrilies with certainly reaching weight, and if he can turn that bowl right out of the head, it certainly puts the pressure on the back end of this particular head, and the jack in the ditch also will give him a good result. So Merrilies back to the mat. We'll explore the option of really putting the pressure on the last couple of bowls to be played on this end. End 7.
Very tight contest so far, just as we expected, between two very strong pairings, as Merrilies looking for that one bowl.
Oh, he's close.
Selena Smith, he's just going to come under the line, but he's going to add another to the count.
Well, and put another bowl in behind the head in the catching pen. And you can't quite, you'll see the shadow there, you can see now. There's the in behind the front bowl, which is Craig Merrill's bowls. There is only the one bowl sitting there of Selena Smith's. Everything else in around the jack proximity all belong to the Hendra Merrill's combination. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them sit around. So that one bowl is sitting a bit precarious. You can see it there.
Yeah, the white bowl. So you got the blue and white bowls of Merrill's, the pinky red bowls with white specks of Hendra.
Certainly got the next 4, one would assume, after that. So it's imperative that another bowl on the head, but this is going to be narrow under the line. This bowler, Selena Smith, searching for the jack. Yeah. Do you play the big, endeavour to play the big shot? And only wants 2 rolls, Brent, in that bowl. That's all it needs. And he wasn't far away with his, was Craig Merrill's with his first.
Exactly right. Yeah, would have seen Alex Reid, another former Bowl 3-5 player with the Point Chevalier Pirates, who works in the chat room here, and it's put the draws and everything together for these Summerset National Mixed Pairs. He was making his way around the boards, and we'll flick us some results, and just coming through now. Thank you very much, Alex. So Sarah Tokumore and Laurie Guy leading Nick Butter and Tracy Clark now 7-4. That's after 6 of the 16 ends. Anne Muir and Paul Price leading the Bryans. John and Cherie 9-6 after 8 of the 16 ends. And Bronwyn and Roger Stevens are leading Ben and Helen King 10-3. Also after 8 of the 16 ends, so that the halfway stages of 2 of those quarterfinals. And of course the winner of the Bronwyn Stevens, Roger Stevens against Ben and Helen King quarterfinal will play the winner of this one later today from around midday. And we'll have one of the semi-finals again for you here on Sky Sport Next before we bring you the final of what are the inaugural Summerset National Open Mixed Pairs.
Great attempt here by Selena Smith. Is it going to run all the way? No, it won't. After the Craig Merrill's bowl went wide of the jack.
2 signalled by Claire Hendra. So that was much needed.
Certainly
By
was.
Selena Smith. Well, it didn't actually end up getting all the way there. It reduced the count. So it's now Craig Merrill's and Claire Hendra 9, leading Sheldon Baggery Howley and Selena Smith 7. And we've completed now 7 of the 16 ends. So we're an end behind a couple of the other quarterfinals. For the update from Alex Reid, out and about around the boards here at the Alexandra Bowling Club. Great that we can keep you up to date of those other quarterfinals while we bring you live streaming of our feature quarterfinal between Craig Merrill's and Claire Hendra, taking on their Gore Rams Bowls 3-5 teammate Sheldon Baggery Howley and Selena Smith, another Bowls 3-5 player, of course, with the Stoke Thunder. Plays out the Takapuna Club on Auckland's North Shore and looking for her 5th national title, which would give her a gold star. We saw Lee Griffin presented with her gold star for her 5th national title after being part of Mandy Boyd's 4, which won the national title here at Alexandra Bowling Club on Sunday. Could we be seeing another gold star presented later today to Selena Smith? Of course, was part of that beaten 4 with Claire Hendra on Sunday.
And of course, earlier on in the year, beaten in the final of the Summerset National Pairs, playing with Dale Rayner, where they're defeated by Val Smith and Lisa Prideaux.
Yeah, it's hoping it's 3rd time lucky, isn't it? It's been very consistent, Selena Smith, getting deep at a number of the national tournaments.
Obviously, Carlton Cornwall, a happy hunting ground for Val Smith and Lisa Prideaux, winning the pairs there a couple of years ago and then coming back to Carlton this year. and winning the Peers. Last year, of course, in Christchurch, they got to the semi-final of the Peers. Look at this head. Sheldon Bagley, Howley, touch. Tips the jack over.
I'd have made two of it, you know.
Could well have made two of it.
Very, very close, just with that falling in and moving the jack slightly. Toucher from Bagley Howley.
4 bowls there. Actually, a handkerchief would go over the top.
Oh, the stand has been very good, hasn't it? It's been great to watch so far.
So Val Smith and Lisa Bordeaux won the Peers, and then, of course, I beat her in the next year in Christchurch by the eventual winners in the semi-final. They were, in fact, Selena Smith and Caitlin Inch, and then this last year that's just gone back, it was Lisa Bordeaux and Val Smith again, and they defeated Dale Rayner and Selena Smith. So those Selena Smith and Lisa Bordeaux and Val Smith have been very dominant in the Peers in the last 3 years.
Yeah, something about that last name, Smith. Can have
Certainly
success
is.
in the Peers.
Yeah, here's Craig Merrilees trying to make contact, going to just go by only half a bowl, out of getting a good result. But I think it's 2.
Val Smith going out. Bannockburn losing to the Bryans. John and Cherie are in action here in the quarterfinals of the Summerset National Mixed Peers. And Lisa Prideaux unable to get out of section play. One of the surprises of section play. Playing with Mike Kernahan.
Defeated in their first game by Bruce McNish, and then defeated in the second game by Peter Bellis and Reen Stratford.
Yeah, pretty tough start.
It was. They were playing up at...
There was going to be someone knocked out there early on.
It certainly was. Playing it up at Waipiata. So here's Merrilees, as they're looking very closely at this head. It looks as though it might just drop under the line, certainly playing with that reaching weight. So that indicates, as you rightly said, Brendan, that it is more than likely 2 shots to the... Selena Smith. Sheldon Bagley Howley, after he got a touch on the jack, here's Smith now on her backhand and deliberately playing out on that wider side, because that's where, if contact's made in the head, that's where the jack's certainly going to head out. You see Craig Merrilees' bowl sitting just out to the side, and the Bacchus bowl as well, being that of the Merrilees' bowl as well, so he can afford to play with reaching weight. On his forehand. See in a moment where it goes to that bowl. Just obviously missed on the way through, goes to the deepest part of the rink. Sheldon Bagley Howley indicating to Selena Smith, well, draw another bowl on the head, with Merrilees and Hendra leading 9-7 after 7 of the 16 ends. Selena Smith tightened the line up, trying now to play to the Hendra bowl, which is 3rd shot.
Not a bad effort.
Great effort. We'll just sit outside it.
Just a bowl narrow, really, from getting onto that Hendra bowl, which is the only bowl which is close to the 2 that they've got there, trying to turn that 2 into 3, potentially Bagley Howley and Smith. Now Merrilees, again, looks like he's winding up, but does the same even if he's just playing the draw, so it's slightly hard to read. Playing with weight, but looks narrow, doesn't it?
Under the line all the way.
Is it going to take his own out? It does. So now that Hendra bowl is quite lonely there.
Sure, we'll see Selena Smith go for the cover.
I think that's seemed to be what was gestured by
down the
Bagley Howley.
Deep on the rink, down towards the 2 metre mark.
Knowing that Merrilees is going to play with weight again. It comes, rocks up one of our own bowls. Give first bowl.
I suppose Hendra, well, they've got to be pretty careful here, because the other bowler, Claire Hendra, which is 4th shot, sits in a direct line as well. You could go bump, ricochet on
Well,
it.
there's a chance that Mirrlees could get rid of both of the Hendra bowls, isn't there?
If you play it too heavy, you play it with, let's say, a drive, you could well have that unfortunate result.
Mirrlees has played his, of course, so it's going to be Hendra.
And Claire Hendra will play with more, I'd say, conservative reaching weight, trying to slide through the front bowl, get a slide off the jack level bowl onto the jack. Definitely playing it on her forehand. And she's got quite a bit of weight, but that's well under the line. It was under the line, out of the hand. You can see that. It's going to go by. No harm done. Contact, nothing.
Bagri Howley, who stayed at the head. Waited to see what Claire Hendra did with her first. Now strides with purpose to the mat.
Well, there's not really a lot that Sheldon Bagley Howley can do, because he doesn't want to play narrow and try and squeeze the jack. Oh, he's trying to play to the Claire Hendra bowl. That is going to be under the line, but that he'll be happy with that because it goes back.
It was the right weight, wasn't it, to play,
Absolutely.
I think?
But it goes back to where those other bowls are of the Hendra Mirrlees combination.
If Hendra is successful, you're right. If the jack spat out there, that's where danger could be done to Bagri Howley and Smith.
Well, it's going to hang out on the wide side.
Yeah, overcorrection. And Selena Smith bowl, I think, came spurting from left to right, but didn't touch anything, didn't disrupt the head, which has remained intact despite all the best efforts of Craig Mirrlees and Claire Hendra. And the last bowl of this, the 8th end, halfway stage of this Summerset National Mixed Pairs quarter-final. Wasn't far away with his previous.
Oh, he's on a pretty good line here.
Just going to slide by. It does.
Well, we didn't want to get the back of it. Well played.
No, I'd be glad that, given that if he didn't get the middle of that bowl or the inside of it, he didn't get the outside. It's hard to tell if that was 2 signal, but I think it was.
I'm pretty sure that it was 2 right from once they got the touch on the jack. Certainly looked like 2 shots.
Only one.
Only the one.
Yeah, only the one on the scoreboard. So 9-8. Craig Mirrlees, Claire Hendra now leading Sheldon Bagri Howley and Selena Smith. Yeah, it certainly seemed just the way that they were playing, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it was a big, there was a lot of bowls played to try and get a one-shot result. That's really how I look at it.
Yeah, very interesting. So, just the one shot between these two combinations halfway through this quarter-final.
So, very good opening ball we saw there from Selena Smith sitting alongside the jack.
Yeah, we'll come to expect that. Whoever's been leading, at least there's been one bowl right on the jack from the opening. The leads who are playing just their 2 bowls, of course, in this 2-4-2 format. If you just joined us and you're wondering what we're talking about, so we have Selena Smith and Craig Mirrlees play 2 of their 4 bowls off the front, and then Sheldon Bagri Howley and Claire Hendra will make their way to the mat. They'll play all 4 of their bowls, and Selena Smith and Claire Hendra will return to play their last 2, and then we'll flip around. So the 10th end we'll have Bagri Howley and Hendra play 2 to start with. So there's a lot of movement to and from the head as a result.
So as bowler Craig Merrill's just going to fall outside the bowl, certain head, perfect weight to sit on the Selena Smith bowl, which is the shot.
Didn't miss by much, did he?
No, it was only a fraction away from sitting onto the bowl. And it's Merrill's and Hendra that lead 9-8 and 9-8 after 8 of 16 ends. Perfect conditions here. The Alexandra Bowling Club, and as Brenton said, we'll keep you up to date with the other 3 quarterfinals that have been played also on the green here in these truly scenic conditions here in Central Otago. And Sheldon Bagley Howdy just not quite going to sit on the bowl of Selena Smith to add to the count. Claire Hendra now will play on her backhand. You'll note the jack matters on the 2 metre mark, but certainly a shorter length what they played the last end coming up this way where everything was on the 2 metre mark.
You can see the flag top corner of the screen fluttering a bit as well, so more wind than we've seen previously here at the Alexandra Bowling Club. Not a significant amount that's going to have any factor on the bowls. It will no doubt be a bit of relief for the players and those officials who are present. Of course, unfortunately, unable to open up the club to the general public, given
great bowl here from Sheldon
level 2 restrictions.
Sits right in behind the jack, sits just about literally, not quite a back toucher, but sits right alongside. Now Claire Hendra needs to draw up the backhand, trying to sit on what is the shot bowl or get through to the jack on the backhand. On its way, Silverstream player. Just question that line, Brenton. Looks down under the line. You can see 3/4 of the way down. Didn't have the weight, the line to get to the counting bowls. 2 shots being held by Sheldon Bagley Harley, Selena Smith combination. Again, Bagley Harley on his backhand. He's certainly out on that wider side. Not that's going to cause any harm at all. Coming back a long way, Selena Smith only just misses getting to the centre line. Certainly on taking a beautiful arc on that backhand. Claire Hendra no doubt should take note of where that bowl of Sheldon Bagley Howley's broke from, because that's where you need to be on the draw to get into the target area where the shot and second shot are sitting on the jack. But won't have the weight to get where that particular line and sits short underneath Craig Merrill's bowl.
Yeah, it was probably only a roll underweighted, just didn't quite have the right line.
It's interesting, you see Craig Merrill's indicating to Claire Hendra it's more about green. And again, Sheldon, well,
he's going to finish well short, and he doesn't like that one. Slaps the thigh, and disappointment. Shakes his head. He's his heart on his sleeve as a bowler, doesn't he, Sheldon Bagley Howley?
Does.
You know whether he's bowled a good one or a bad one, for how he reacts. Really rides every bowl.
Well, I was standing there looking at it, Claire Hendra and Craig Merrill's, and really the good thing from Claire Hendra's point of view is don't look at the head so much, Claire. Look at where that bowl of Sheldon Bagley Howley's went to, because your line with a yard of weight is just underneath that bowl. If you're just underneath it with a yard of weight, you'll go very, very close to making contact with either the shot or the second shot. See on the screen there, you can see that bowl lower the jack. That's a perfect line. The yard of weight on the backhand to reach into where the counting bowls are. It's got to be Claire Hendra's target. She certainly played this with more weight. That's what we spoke about there underneath that bowl. Goodness gracious, gets one and moves the jack and right to the Craig Merrill's bowl. Well, as we said, Brendan, that's where the line was.
Yeah, very well executed, and it's worked out well in the end. Jack coming off, I think, a Baggery Howley bowl and nestling right alongside a Merrill's bowl. It's one of his white and blue two-shade bowls, Merrill's. So high fives all round for the Merrill's Hendra combination. Very well executed from 2 down, and now 1 up. And now Selena Smith is having to draw to a tricky part of the green off that centre line.
It highlights, Brendan, on a very, very good running green like this. If you get your line, take the line right, control your weight, you'll get rewarded for it, and you will get hurt if you don't, if you elect not to, and that's a sign of a good green. So good attempt here from Selena Smith. Needs to get under this front bowl. And ran into a clear Hendra bowl. It's not all bad though.
He's ended in a pretty good
That's
spot.
in a good spot there. Work off that bowl to get to the Craig Merrill's bowl, because the next 3 bowls and the jack movement area certainly favours the Selena Smith Sheldon Baggery Howley combination. You'll see a bowl just out to the, or is that a? That's not
yeah, this is the problem. It's hard to tell the difference between 3 of the bowls have white on them. Got the Selena Smith bowl, which is all white. Baggery Howley's a purple and white. Merrill's a light blue and white. And so it depends how they're sitting.
How they're sitting, where the colour sits up,
yeah,
isn't it?
Exactly. Some of them may be, if it's a white bowl, it may actually be a Baggery Howley or Merrill's bowl. So I think majority of the back bowls are Merrill's and Hendra, but
here's Merrill's.
hard to tell.
Endeavouring to get another bowl on the head, and in the counting area, breaking towards the head, needs to just get under the Selena Smith bowl. Rocks it into the head well. There for Selena Smith is the target zone that we were talking about before. Target there is just to that bowler, Selena Smith. She gets the inside of that, and that would certainly chip onto the jack or move the blue ring bowl of Merrill's, certainly move it around in the head. Just give herself weight to make sure she holds the line. Does Selena Smith doesn't have the weight to the line, it will soon disappear. And this is in the area we were talking about, Brendan. Touch there and jack. Desperately unlucky.
Very, very unlucky. It was a very well-worked bowl. Unfortunate not to take the jack with it. Sat on Baggery Howley's bowl and actually moved that from the head. Still hasn't changed the situation. Still only holding 1, Merrill's and Hendra. But with Smith having played her last, Merrill's has 1 to play. He could potentially turn this into 2 here.
Well, it was played with the right weight by Selena Smith, Brendan, to get that result, and all but got the perfect result. So Craig Merrill's now add to the head, make 2 of it. Here is Merrill's now on his forehand. That green running around about 16 seconds this morning.
So coming on the backhand now. Is he able to thread his way through? How is this for an effort? Just ends a roll short, really, of maybe grabbing a second shot. Instead, it's just the 1. Craig Merrill's and Claire Hendra now leading 10-8. We've completed 9 now of the 16 ends, excuse me.
Of course, no time limit in these quarterfinal onwards mixed pairs. You can see the umbrellas now just moving around with a bit of a breeze down there, but it's certainly not to what I'd call, we've certainly, this isn't a real breeze, this is just
it's one of our umbrellas over the cameras and placed there for wet weather. There is a bit of wet weather forecast as a bit of breeze comes into our commentary position here as well.
You'll see the players' shirts just buffeting around a wee bit as the Clearhendra bowl just goes by the head.
Yeah, so some of the most wind we've had here, but still not what you'd really call wind.
Yeah, your weight was good. Touch the grass, you got it.
Clearhendra. Aaron Nurkit there, just correcting the umbrella. Make sure it's out of shot. Good bowl by Hendra.
Right alongside
Finishes,
the jack.
Yeah, very close to the jack.
Just having a quick look at the rain radar, and there's showers down in the southern region, but it'll have to move its way back up through here. Just light showers in the southern region of New Zealand, but whether it arrives here is, of course, we don't know. As they change over for the 4 bowls to be played now, as it is definitely Clearhendra bowl which is shot.
Interestingly, the wind looks like it's actually changed round because the flag top left screen now in the other direction, what it was previously. The ABC, Alexandra Bowling Club flag.
10-8 at after 9 of the 16 ends with Clearhendra hitting 10-8 and sitting right on the jack with this Craig Murley's bowl. It'll make 2 of it, sits just by the jack. Really, it's a one-hand draw at this point in time because the backhand side has been sort of closed up by some of the short bowls. So the forehand from Selena Smith with Clearhendra definitely holding the shot. This bowl's going to be very, very short. And only shot that's open now in the backhand, of course, is backhand swoop down towards the jack. See, things just been buffeted around a wee bit by the breeze. Murley's from Southland, of course, part of the Gore Rams squad. In this bowl of Craig Murley's, this is a little come up short, but might close off that backhand line. No, it doesn't. And there's Sheldon Bagley-Howley indicating to Selena Smith, right, let's stop trying to dead draw the shot. Let's try play down that backhand shoot to reach to the shot bowl or the jack.
It's just going to come under the line, I think. Might get a nice little rub off on the bowls. Oh, it doesn't. In the end, it collects a Murley's bowl and pushes it into that line.
Makes that line a lot more, well, it makes it a lot tighter, Brendan, because where it's sitting is it's a direct run line now into the jack. So in my viewpoint now for the Murley's Hendra combination, go for your life, pack the head up, draw as many as you can, because it certainly puts the pressure on the Selena Smith Sheldon Bagley-Howley combination with how the bowls are sitting and behind the head to the centre line. Not quite so. Now Selena Smith, because of that, running into that short bowl, is going to change her hand. Problem, of course, here for the Bagley-Howley-Smith combination, at this point in time, they haven't got a bowl over their head, so they can't really reach too aggressively, because jack movement, this bowl of Selena Smith, though, will give them, I would think, the chance of a back bowl. It's going to may well finish up second shot, as it may not. 2 down was the call from Sheldon Bagley-Howley and finished literally jack level.
After completion of this end to be able to give you an update on the other 3 quarterfinals here at the Summerset National Mixed Pairs. Colin Williams now doing the honours, filling in for Alex Reid, making his way around the boards. Big thank you to Colin, of course, a member of the Point Chev Pirates, and bowls 3-5 and was part of Aidan Takarua's 4 here at the Summerset National Fours, which went through perfect in section play, only to be bundled out the first knockout round.
Well, it's 3 shots now held by the Craig Murray's Claire Hendra combination as the last bowl of Craig Murray's sat in fact on the shot bowl. Sheldon Bagri Harley looking closely at this bowl of Selena Smith's as it breaks towards the head. This is a great bowl by Smith, going to sit on the second shot. Well played by Selena Smith. Wasn't looking good there for a while. I'd be happy to get that second shot in there for sure.
Absolutely needed something for Sheldon Bagri Howley to work with. Always plays with a smile on her face, Selena Smith.
Certainly does.
No matter what. And even today, and certainly saw it yesterday, have often been sharing jokes and smiling.
And I
Bagri
see
Howley and Smith.
And I see Selena Smith's husband who's here. He's got the shirt as well.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, supporting with the colours, the quite loud pink shirt.
Good to see.
Absolutely.
So Claire Hendra now on this, the 10th end. She try and reach the Selena Smith bowl. It's a touch on the jack is fine as well. Round the corner they got, because they do have the advantage of bowls over the head, and that looks as though what's trying to play here is Claire Hendra to the bowl. Gets the bowl out clean, rocks it. We'll see in a moment. Definitely 2.
Yeah, very well played, Claire Hendra. High five from her partner, Craig Mirrlees.
Well
now striding
played.
back to the mat is Bagri Howley. Shot for shot contest here. It's been a very close affair so far. Our feature mixed pairs quarterfinal here at the Summerset Nationals. Playing with weight is Bagri Howley.
Very close. Going to get just go by though. Gets a touch off the.
He almost got a nice little
Now.
rub off that wide Selena Smith bowl.
Here's a big chance for the Hendra Murray's combination. There's a 5-shot bag sitting there now because that was a Selena Smith bowl that got rolled out of the head, and it's just the one bowl sitting in there now of Sheldon Bagri Howley and Selena Smith, and very quickly did Claire Hendra recognise that, and she'll be endeavouring to reach to that bowl on the backhand. Certainly it's there, opportunities there. They're holding the shots, no real danger. Gate's been ajar a bit for a good scoring opportunity. Looks wide on the way down, and it is. Because the bowl that they were endeavouring to attack was jack high, so there was no real danger in trying to see there was the grey bowler Selena Smith's in the middle, and that was certainly worth a number, well worth the attempt. Didn't get the green right. Still holding though, of course, is Craig Mirrlees and Claire Hendra, and Sheldon Bagri Howley will just try and endeavour and improve a wee bit on his line to the jack with his last bowl on this in 10 as we come to the end of 10 16. He's more on the draw. This is a closer line to the jack. He gets that, sits on the shot.
What a bowl that is from Bagri Howley. Well deserving of a high five from Selena Smith. Really, that end had been dictated by Mirrlees and Hendra. But Sheldon Bagri Howley snatches the shot with the last bowl of the 10th end. And it's a 1-shot quarterfinal once more. Craig Merrilies and Claire Hendra 10, leading Sheldon Bagri Howley and Selena Smith 9. Bringing it up to date after 10 ends also, it is Bronwyn and Roger Stevens who are leading Ben and Helen King 10-7. That's 10-7, the Stevens leading the Kings after 10 ends. Also after 10 ends, Paul Price and Anne Muir are leading John and Cherie Bryan 11-7. That's 11-7 after 10 ends. Paul Price and Anne Muir leading John and Cherie Bryan, and Laurie Guy and Sarah Tokamore leading Nick Butter and Tracy Clark 8-5. That is 8-5 after 8 ends. Laurie Guy and Sarah Tokamore leading Nick Butter and Tracy Clark.
Well, I must say that last end played by Sheldon Bagley Howley, and to pay a compliment to Sheldon Bagley Howley in the maturity he's now got into his game, because the earlier Sheldon Bagley Howley, we'd have seen him driving full bore at that head, trying to run bowls out of the head or the jack or whatever, but backed himself on just the draw and certainly played a superb shot there to turn 2 down into 1 up. And Selena Smith, Julie, after that, draws just in behind the jack with her opening bowl, as Craig Merrilies' bowl just slid by on the backhand side. So well played by Sheldon Bagley Howley. They trail 10-9 after 10 of the 16 ends. As we watch the second bowl of Selena Smith, just fall slightly lower the jack and a wee bit on the wider side. As Craig Merrilies again now come down on his backhand, trying to reach the shot bowl. Just slipped by with his first. Certainly got this bowl a wider arc. How far is it? It's going to though pull up under the line fractionally. Will sit just under jack level, second shot. So the other 3 games, Brennan, are still relatively tight. Only 3 or 4 shots, aren't they, in all of the other 3 quarterfinals? So a couple of ends, that could all turn around as well, couldn't it?
Yeah, indeed. Of course, the winner of this quarterfinal will play the winner of the Bronwyn Stevens and Roger Stevens against Ben and Helen King. And in the bottom half of the draw, have the other quarterfinal winners playing in the semi-final, which most likely we'll be bringing to you next here on Sky Sport Next. Semi-final.
On the draw again is Sheldon Bagley Howley. Drew underneath the Craig Merrilies bowl. Sits just lower the jack, 12 to 14 inches in the jack. Claire Hendra on the backhand. 2 down is Hendra and Merrilies. They lead 10-9. As we watch this first bowl of Claire Hendra's, even to break its way back to, it's short and under the line slightly, certainly missing the metre of weight. Sheldon Bagley Howley on his forehand after playing a very good one with his first bowl. Looks to be wider though with the second. Needs to get under the Merrilies bowl, but he'll be happy with that because it's going to finish in behind the head. It's a good spot there because any jack movement would certainly head in the direction of where that bowl of Sheldon Bagley Howley's came to rest. So with Claire Hendra, definitely got a wider line with this bowl. Just will depend on the weight, how far it comes back. And it's going to go by a good couple of metres. So Sheldon Bagley Howley with his third bowl. Endeavour to draw to the count. It certainly looked to be on a different line as compared to his second, but is it going to get under? No, it won't. It'll just sit wide of the Craig Merrilies bowl, but in behind the head. A metre. Still holding 2 shots is Smith and Bagley Howley.
Yeah, well, it's been very close throughout.
Yeah, I think the strong likelihood, Brenton, that could remain like that right through to the 16 ends, although that would be the three of the loosest bowls, I'd say, that Claire Hendra has played. One right behind, two short, to endeavour to make amends to her last bowl.
Yeah, just looking through the scorecard, and they've each scored on 5 ends of the 10 so far. It's been 3 threes and 3 twos, but never have they been separated by more than 3 shots, and that was right from the outset. And Sheldon Bagri-Halley and Selena Smith scored a 3 on the first.
Sheldon Bagri-Halley electing to change his hand, and whether that bowl counts or not, Craig Merrilley's having to look to see if it counts.
I think there's a good chance it does.
May well.
Just whether that jack level bowl of Merrilley's, which is out to the left of the previous shot.
So Hendra needs to get it bowl into the head to reduce the count. He's going to try and attack through the front bowls on her forehand to try and reach through to the counting bowls, and might get a wee bit of luck here. And
that's worked out very nicely. And Sheldon Bagri-Halley can just turn his back on that disbelief.
Yeah, that was a bit fortuitous, running into a short bowl and just pushing the Claire Hendra bowl right onto the jack.
Yeah, so from dictating terms, now there's Merrilley's and Hendra who are holding shot. Work to do for Bagri-Halley and Smith in particular. Selena Smith with the final 2 bowls of this end.
And it also looks to be a difficult drag of the jack option. Looks just about the way how the bowl came to rest on the jack makes it pretty difficult. So Smith will elect to play it on her forehand, trying to make some contact. This is the 11th end. Trying to play through that port to make contact. Hard shot for sure. But there's a good attempt from Selena Smith. She might collect the Claire Hendra bowl on the way through. Not so, but a good attempt. Well, just a bowl away from getting to the target that she wanted to.
Again, after her first, makes her way back down to the head. Stand alongside Sheldon Bagri-Halley. See what Craig Merrilley's does with his first. Merrilley's sunglasses on the head. Pauses at the top of the mat. Now, having worked out what he wants to do, he just stands off the mat momentarily. Maybe a change of mind. So he was at the head, had a bit of time to assess it, and then by the time he's got back to the mat, he's actually decided to play something different. So coming on the backhand side. Urging it on as Hendra. Looks half decent, it's just going to come in behind. Looking for that bowl of Bagri-Halley and Smith, which is sitting just behind the shot bowl of Claire Hendra's. Knocked that out, maybe could have turned it into 2, 3, perhaps even.
Selena Smith will endeavour to, I'm not saying it's perhaps a shot, but just try and play to where the shot bowl is on the forehand, and who knows where the jack will go from there. She's only a bowl away really from being inside that line to get under the head to get to the shot bowl, the Claire Hendra bowl. Sheldon Bagri-Halley looking closely at this one, trying to urge it to come back, and he didn't want to rock the Claire Hendra bowl into the head. Very fortuitous, to be fair. Fortuitous one that they're holding at present, but that happens. It's
And she was in the area.
Certainly was.
So she got some luck, no doubt. She was in the right area to get that luck.
So we'll see on the backhand. Craig Murray's endeavour to draw to the head to take the count to 2. Definitely hold him 1.
Wasn't far away with his first.
This looks on a good line. Doesn't want to move the jack though.
And has hand on head, and from 1 up to 1 down those Merrileys. As he was trying to turn it into 2, and that was the danger, being a touch narrow, and he was just a touch. So we're all square now, 10 apiece. Craig Merrileys and Claire Hendra and Sheldon Bagri-Howley and Selena Smith. And we've now completed 11 of the 16 ends. And this is going to go down to the wire, ladies and gentlemen. Stick with us here on Sky Sport Next. Expected it to be close, and it has been close. Very little between these two combinations.
Just got the barest of touch onto the jack. So 11 ends gone, and we're locked up at 10 all. Jack's been delivered 3/4 length head, and it will be Sheldon Bagri-Howley playing with Selena Smith, who will play the first bowl. It's on its way.
Good opening bowl from Bagri-Howley, applauded by his playing partner Selena Smith. It's been very rare that we haven't seen one of the two leads on each end, whoever player it's been, get one pretty much on the jack. Hendra going to finish short with her opening bowl. Good metre and a half short, Hendra. She'll make the adjustment though with her second. Bagri-Howley knows he's narrow with his second. Also didn't have the weight.
Claire Hendra has been instead endeavouring to improve with her second bowl of the first lot of 2 bowls played by each player. On this, the 12th of 16 ends.
Is she going to get around her bowl? Is she going to run into it? She's going to run into it, promote it into the head, but not enough to count.
So just tightens that line up. So I'm sure we'll see Selena Smith won't want to get tangled up. And looking, just the body language indication that Selena Smith will play their backhand.
That's where the two Bagri-Howley bowls are on that side. You see his husband just walking past, looking to get a spot, clad in the same strip as his wife Selena and Sheldon Bagri-Howley.
Just come back from a recent overseas posting with the New Zealand Navy. Of course, away quite some time, one of his overseas postings. Now back on shore, having a break. So Selena Smith going to go by the head. Not quite get back to the centre line, but that's a good bowl in behind the head. This is danger here for Craig Merrileys, and Claire Hendra is trying to judge that line through there on the forehand with the 2 short bowls that are there. Wind just buffets through. So you can see the draw line there for Craig Merrileys. It's just through those 2 jack low bowls, and a sensible decision gone to the back end where it's a clear path to the jack. Breaking its way back now towards the Sheldon Bagri-Howley bowl. Has it got the weight? No, it hasn't. So 3 bowls gone from the Merrilies-Hendra combination. And they're all short of the jack, 10 all after 11. Selena Smith with her second. That has to be narrow. It was narrow. You could see narrow out of the hand. And any old professional player would tell you, not professional, but long-standing player would tell you, don't try and play the wind, just play your bowl, see what happens. And trying to steer your bowl and where you think it will go, just going to find yourself in a delivering ineffective bowls. So it runs into the Bagri Halley bowl. Did it make a couple? Don't know. May well have, actually. In fact, looking on the monitor there, Brendan, it does look like a couple.
Oh, this is one of the scrappiest ends we've seen, if not the entire match. There is wind gusting in, but it's still not a huge amount of wind.
No, it's not.
It shouldn't really be having a massive impact on the bowls.
Because you'll see this bowler, Selena Smith's bowl, just draw naturally. And it's a counter.
I think it's just because there's been pretty much zero wind.
Correct.
This whole tournament, and then all of a sudden there is a bit of wind. The players reacting in kind. It's just been so different to what they've been used to over the last few days. Playing with a bit of weight. There's Merrilies.
Yeah, he's trying to search down to get to the jack. And goes
He's got rid of both shot bowls, I think.
Bowls out of the head, and one down is the call from Sheldon Baggy Harley. You saw him indicate that to Selena Smith, that it's one shot to the Merrilies-Hendra combination.
Very well executed by Merrilies.
So here's now Selena Smith on that good arc to the bowl. This looks pretty handy. This one, if it gets past, that'll be the shot. Well played by Selena Smith. Just drew past the Jack Low bowl. Now, indication from Claire Hendra to Craig Merrilies. Play across the head to what is the shot bowl, which he will do. On his forehand, he would have reached down through the port. Trying to get to that Jack Low, Selena Smith bowl. It's on a good line. Gets the
he's
bowl
got it
clean.
again. 2 great bowls from Merrilies. Nice, 2 good draw shots, weren't they, by Selena Smith? But the weighted bowls of Merrilies gets rid of them.
Yeah, well played there by Craig Merrilies on both of those bowls to move the counting bowls out of the head. So Sheldon Baggy Howley back to the mat. And he was seeing the Merrilies-Hendra side score a 3 and 2 threes to the Smith-Baggy Howley combination. Overall, it's pretty tight.
Especially of late, isn't it? We haven't had a more than a 1 the last few ends.
That bowler, Sheldon Baggy Howley's looked good out of the hand and is going to be good. Sits right in the jack line.
Yeah, used his own bowl very well.
It's shot for sure.
And it's protected a bit more as well.
Same
previous.
Claire Hendra come down that port between the Sheldon Baggy Howley Jack Low bowl and the shot bowl. And see if you can get to the jack as well. On its way, on the backhand is Claire Hendra. On this, the 12th end. How far is it going to come back on that line? Needs to get under the bowl of Sheldon Baggy Howley's. It's got not quite. Yes, it does.
Oh, well done, Claire Hendra. Now, this has been quite an end. Bowl for bowl, isn't it? The last, 5 bowls. Changed hands. Who's holding shot?
So Sheldon Baggy Howley indicating he's going to play with forcing weight down through there to try and get to the shot bowl, the bowl of Claire Hendra. Very exact draw shot we saw from Hendra. Here now is Begley Howley on the back end, searching for what is the shot bowl of Claire Hendra's. It's going to be under the centre line, but what contact's it going to make on the way through? Rolled into another of the Claire Hendra bowls, but made no difference to the head.
Ends that little run we had of punch and counter punch, where two pairings were exchanging who was holding shot. Some great bowls. Bakery Howley misses it out this time. Now Hendra, chance to have the final say on this, the 12th end. After this completion of this bowl, chance to give you another update of the other 3 quarterfinals taking place. The National Mixed Pairs, Summerset National Mixed Pairs here at the Alexandra Bowling Club in Central Otago. Hendra takes her time after weighing up what shot to play. Now coming on the forehand. Need to bring it round her bowl earlier. I think asked a bit too much of that. It's come right round that wide bowl outside, but weight was good, just not able to come all the way back. And it is Miralise and Hendra who get the mat back. I believe it was just the one, wasn't it?
Certainly was. What I'd seen.
So like, how many singles have we had in the last few ends? When was the last time a multiple was scored?
We've had the last 5 scoring ends have all been singles.
Yeah, it certainly has tightened up, hasn't it? We saw those 3s and 2s early, but it's become very tight from that moment on. So Craig Miralise and Claire Hendra reclaiming the lead, and it is indeed 11-10. 11-10, Craig Miralise and Claire Hendra leading Sheldon Baggery Howley and Selena Smith. The winner of this will play the winner of the Bronwyn and Roger Stevens and Ben and Helen King quarterfinal, and it's the Stevens who are leading the Kings 15-9. That's after 13 of the 16 ends. So a bit ahead in that quarterfinal. And then the bottom half of the draw, it's Laurie Guy and Sarah Tokamore who are leading Nick Butter and Tracy Clark 12-6. That's 12-6. Guy and Tokamore are leading Butter and Clark after 11 of the 16 ends. And the last remaining quarterfinal, Paul Price and Anne Muir are leading John and Cherie Bryan 12-9. That's 12-9 after 13 of the 16 ends. Paul Price and Anne Muir leading John and Cherie Bryan. So that's pretty close. The other two have opened up a little bit, and this one the closest of the lot, as we anticipated, between two very strong pairings. All bowls 3-5 players, of course. Smith and Hendra, both part of the Blackjack squad. Baggery Howley, part of the emerging player squad, just below Blackjacks. And Craig Miralise, as Kevin Hicklin mentioned earlier, very strong player, PBA circuit.
Has played in the UK, has qualified to go over and play at the likes of Potters and the Scottish International and that, so certainly a very proficient player on the carpet.
And showing his prowess on the grass as well this week.
Well, no doubt I would say Miralise could well be a player for the North-South match later on this year, which is going to be, of course, played indoors on carpet, his preferred surface. That player like Craig Miralise could well
it could be quite handy for the South, absolutely.
Could well fall into their category.
And with it 16 players aside, 8 men, 8 women, is certainly the chance for Miralise, no doubt, to be considered for selection for the South Island, and his prowess indoors may perhaps play a part. North-South to be played later in the year. Ryder Cup-like format with 4s on day 1, mixed pairs on day 2, and then singles on the 3rd day. Be 2 sets, and then the sets that finish level, we will have a tiebreaker to decide each of the contests.
And of course, we will be with you in 2 weeks' time, I think it is, at the Inter-Centre finals out of Wellington, with the Wilton Bowling Club being the headquarters. And we'll be bringing you the live action of the final stages of the Inter-Centre. Very keenly contested Inter-Centre. Last year it was unable to be played due to COVID. We hope this year we're free of that by then, and we will have the National Inter-Centre where all the centres, 26, 27 centres, will all gather in Wellington, where they will play, men and women, play multi-disciplines, play a round-robin series, and then through to the finals, which we played on this Sunday.
Yeah, all here on Sky Sport Next. Obviously, because of latest COVID restrictions and Auckland being in a level 3 lockdown, has unfortunately meant postponement of the New Zealand Secondary Schools Champs, which we were going to be bringing to you on Sky Sport Next. There's hope that they'll be played later in the year, but they were also due for March, the New Zealand Secondary Schools Champs. So plenty still to come in the summer of bowls, that is for sure. Claire Hendra can just get rid of the shot bowl, applauded by her playing partner Craig Merrillees. It lands on the shot bowl, maybe enough for shot. Agri Howley playing on the backhand, intently watched by Selena Smith. How's the weight? Looks pretty handy.
Falls in.
Yeah, that should be shot, even without falling into sitting on the previous bowl of Hendra's.
Claire Hendra now on the backhand.
Of course, I mentioned no time limit. Now we're at this final stage of the Summerset National Mixed Pairs. There were 2 3/4 hour time limits for section play on day one, and the 4 rounds of section play we had at the majority of clubs yesterday as we tried to get through that jam-packed schedule, which we managed to do so. It was a long day for the players. So they've been playing so far in this quarterfinal for 2 hours, 20 odd minutes. But time is not a factor. You just push back the next round somewhat if this is the last quarterfinals to be completed, which currently it's running just behind, or at the same pace as one of the other quarterfinals. A couple of them end or two ahead.
So Claire Hendra now certainly got the bowl out. Looked to be a reasonable arc. Craig Merrillees looking closely at as it breaks down towards the jack. Gets the jack, pushes it round the corner, and it's Selena Smith bowl. Which in fact be shot.
Yeah, so a touch it. There, the spray goes on for Merrillees, but looks like Smith's holding shot.
Well,
Howley makes his way down to the head to have a closer look.
And he'll just endeavour, one would think, just good to see him running back.
Oh, he does more often than not, doesn't it? Doesn't,
yeah, he does.
He doesn't waste time.
So he'll endeavour on the backhand. Well, Sheldon Bagley Howley, and to be intent to stay on the wider side so he doesn't promote the Claire Hendra bowl, which would be its second shot. Here's the bowl of Sheldon Bagley Howley's just going to go in behind the head, and he'll be happy with that. Over the head.
Pretty good home, that's for sure. think the Hendra-Merrilies combination will try and move the jack out of its current home. Is the backers bowl of Claire Hendra right on that jack line and behind. So if Merrilies can trail the jack back there, it'll be an ideal result.
If you can sort of just shunt onto that front bowl as well of Claire Hendras, may well just roll the Selena Smith bowl, which I'm sure it is a Selena Smith bowl. Might get a roll out of there, out of the head.
So Merrilies looking to come through that port on the backhand side, just slides past the jack, and Claire Hendra can't believe it. Yeah, absolutely. Great attempt. Just has to laugh as Hendra. I think she had a bit of a joke with Bagri Howley as well. Bagri Howley may be saying due to miss one.
Also, Brendan, a big thank you to the umpires I came across the other day out at Omakar, and I'm sure he wasn't the only umpire who's actually from Dunedin and has taken a few days leave or whatever and has ventured up here to Central Otago to act as an umpire throughout the fours and the mixed pairs, and great to see, and thoroughly, John, his name was, thoroughly enjoying the experience, and a big thank you to the umpires who give their time up so willingly to assist.
Yeah, absolutely. Events like these aren't possible with people like that giving up their precious time. And it's the same with all the members throughout all the clubs that have hosted these Summerset Nationals and the fours and the mixed pairs, have given up their time.
Craig Merrilies having another look at their head, him and Claire Hendra. Well, the difficulty that he's got is to endeavour to get past that last bowl, the Selena Smith bowl, which is just lower the jack, to be able to get past that cleanly to the shot bowl. He's looking at possible other hand options, but I think it's one of those heads where best option is try and draw the shot.
See a few fans watching from the other side of the fence. Of course, entry very much limited to predominantly the players and officials due to COVID-19 alert level 2 restrictions. Is looking for second time lucky as Merrilies. Was not far away at all with the draw. Now, has this got enough on it? It's going to run the wrong side. Runs into one of the Bagri Howley bowls. Now, has that changed the situation? Or
Selena Smith still to play a bowl.
Yeah, it might still just be one they're holding. It's the Selena Smith bowl. We believe shots the white bowl. Has the Claire Hendra dark red pink bowl, which is just out to the right of the Smith bowl, jammed alongside it. So Selena Smith's made her way back to the mat. And this the 12th end of 16, just 4 to come after this. Could be all square with 4 to play. Or can Selena Smith turn this into a couple here? Bagri Howley's interested.
Certainly is, but not going to come back enough.
It was a good effort by Selena Smith. One signal by Bagri Howley. And we all indeed are locked up. 11 apiece now. And we've completed 13, of the 16 ends. So 3 to play.
And now the last 6 ends have all been just the one shot, of which we've seen the Smith-Bagri-Howley combination score 4 singles and the Merrilies-Hendra combination score 2 singles. So it's certainly been...
Yeah, so from 9-7 up, Merrilies and Hendra, and that was after 7 ends. From then, there's been very, very little between these two sides. And just singles picked up on ends. And now it's a 3-end shootout.
Certainly is, as we see Sheldon Baggy-Harley, who has been very impressive in this match in his whole game management and shot selection, weight control, has been another good opening bowl from Baggy-Harley, going to come right back to the centre line, just finished lower the jack. And that wind we were having earlier on, Brenton, doesn't seem to be as gusty as what it was. And for those who don't know where the Alexandra Bowling Club is, it's in the famous Molyneux Park complex. Yeah, out the back or out the other side here. So it's a multi-sports complex here.
There's cricket ground, there's rugby grounds, there's netball courts, tennis courts, there's swimming pool and aquatic centre. Ran round it the other day. Yeah, beautiful facility, of course, with the bowling club closest to the road, the main road in Alexandra. And it's been great to be here for the last week. Really enjoyed the Central Otago hospitality. The Alexandra RSA Bowling Club, less than a K down the road as well, so on the main road, closer to town.
So here is now Claire Hendra. Her forehand.
You had people playing petanque yesterday next door to the Alexandra Bowling Club. Got the Alexandra Petanque Club. So pretty much any sport, you name it, it's played here at Molyneux Park.
Of course, Molyneux Park being the scene of many great Shell Cup, Plunket Shield cricket matches over the years, and it was one of the places I always used to enjoy listening to the tones of the late in Galloway, the grandfather of sports broadcasting.
Oh, absolutely.
It was always great to hear from Molyneux Park at Alexandra.
Yeah, always good games of cricket at Molyneux. Always a good deck, and you can tell because this weather is perfect for making good, batter-friendly cricket pitches, that's for sure.
He certainly, as Brendan and I spoke about the day, wouldn't get many green tops here for the...
You wouldn't think so. Maybe right at the start of the season, perhaps, but I'd say pretty much from December onwards, you'd want to be a batsman, I think, if you played regularly at Molyneux.
So here we have Craig Merrilees on the N14, but the score's locked up at 11 all on the backhand with the Selena Smith-Bagry-Harley combination holding the shot. And this bowl of Craig Merrilees certainly won't run all the way to the jack. Selena Smith going for her 5th New Zealand title. Beaten a few finals as well as Selena Smith. Again, just going to come in under the centre line. Just depends if it gets inside the Claire Hendra bowl. In fact, runs into the Claire Hendra bowl, which is low of the jack. So Craig Merrilees, clear vision for him off the mat to draw under his own, beat his own bowl, and for that to draw in towards the jack, and it would improve the head for the Merrilees-Hendra combination on N14. And it's on a good line. Is it going to get under the bowl? If it gets under the bowl, it's close to counting. And it will, as we said.
Oh,
was
look
the
at
line.
that.
There was a clear vision line down there under that other Craig Merrilees bowl straight to the jack. And he responded and drew a front toucher. Well played by the Southlander. And Selena Smith will now come to her backhand.
Showing he's got the touch as well, Merrilees, rather than just those weighted bowls. Great touch from the Southlander. Thank you very much, Tamara. Providing us with refreshments as well as the ladies in the kitchen looking after us with the cheese rolls. Still a cheese roll sitting in front of us that Kevin Hickland has rudely not eaten. I don't know if he's just teasing me with it or what.
Oh, to come after Ian 16. Watch the Mirrorley's bowl now, coming around the bowl and a finish jack level. This is well played by the Mirrorley's Hendra combination, because there's nothing there for the Bagri Harley Smith combination to use to get to the jack. It's an important thing now for Selena Smith to get second shot, because she's under green with her first bowls. This looks to be a better line, this bowl is Selena Smith's. How far is this going to run after the jack? They're going to get down. This is a great bowl from Selena Smith. Whether it's second shot, if it falls in, it will be. Still two, but in behind the head, which certainly Sheldon Bagley Howley applauded that.
Yeah, it was a fine attempt by Smith. Was not far away from being absolutely perfect. Maybe even clearing out the shot bowl of Mirrorley's, but just passed by Jack and the shot bowl. Mirrorley's, who looks to have found his line, playing out to that wide bowl this time on the wide side, asking a bit too much of that one. Weight was good.
So just wonder there, just Sheldon Bagley Howley just looking to see. Yeah, he's looking at the shot I thought he might try and look at, and that's now to play that forehand swoop down under the head. You can see the port there between two Selena Smith bowls. Now that he's got the back bowl, to see whether he can reach the jack.
Yeah, the two white bowls of Selena Smith is what Kevin's talking about, trying to get through them, get to the shot bowl of the jack. Selena Smith's giving it the double thumbs up to give it a go.
And that is the shot that Sheldon Bagley Howley's endeavouring to play down through that forehand port to the shot bowl. Is it going to hold up long enough?
It's just going to be under the line here.
Yes, but that's the way to play it. They didn't want that, though.
Yeah, actually one of those bowls is actually a Bagley Howley bowl.
Which may well be second shot. I just want to see.
You'd think so.
John Bryan just walking past the back of the green, whether that quarter-final game has come to an end or not. So Claire Hendra making her way back to the mat.
It was pretty close to the Bryan contest, but they were maybe an end ahead of where we are.
Yeah, they were an end ahead.
So maybe they have shaken hands, or maybe just a nature break.
11 all. Claire Hendra on the forehand, holding shot with the Craig Mirrorley's bowl. Not really going to have the weight to do anything here. It's going to come up short. So we might see Sheldon Bagley Howley again play on that forehand side down towards his own bowl bender with perhaps another yard, a bit of weight, because he does have the Selena Smith bowl as the deepest bowl on the rink. Just about impossible to draw it, and he might reach down now on that forehand with that extra bit of weight. We play in 14 of 16. We're locked up 11 all.
Every bowl so important now. See that they're taking a bit of extra time as well, waiting for that little wind gust to pass Bagley Howley. Then delivers.
And he's trying to play that shunt shot on the backhand. Don't think it'll come back from there. Needs a bit of luck on the way through. Not going to get it. Sure, it's only the one.
Yeah, Claire Hendra still to play though. See what she can do. Might want to do what Craig Mirrorley's did with the last bowl previous end and give away the shot, trying to get an extra one. But there shouldn't be no danger of that,
well,
really.
A clear draw, wasn't there, down through past his own bowl.
Yeah, come on that backhand side. Come within Merrill's bowls.
Alexandra on the mat. Play down on her forehand. Holding one at this point. We think it's just the one.
And that's not going to change the situation.
And we'll see that scoreboard change in a moment.
It should just be one, but while we wait for confirmation of that, I can tell you that Bronwyn and Roger Stevens have beaten Ben and Helen King. Unsure of exactly the final score, but it was 18-9 after 15 ends. The Stevens leading Ben and Helen King. So they are through. Bronwyn and Roger Stevens. So they will face the winner, of course, of this quarterfinal, which we are streaming for you.
And it's just a one.
Yeah, confirmation there on the board. So Craig Merrill's and Claire Hendra now leading Sheldon Baggery-Howley and Selena Smith 12-11. We're playing now the penultimate end 15 of 16. And the other two quarterfinals, Laurie Guy and Sarah Tokamore are leading Nick Butter and Tracy Clark 13-10. 13-10 after 14 ends. Laurie Guy and Sarah Tokamore of Victoria leading Nick Butter and Tracy Clark. And in the last remaining quarterfinal, Paul Price and Anne Muir have beaten John and Cherie Bryan. 16-9 it was after 15 ends. So Paul Price and Anne Muir also through to the semi-finals. The Northland combination beating John and Cherie Bryan of Stokes Valley. So two of the semi-finalists found, one in the top half of the draw. Congratulations to Bronwyn and Roger Stevens, and to Paul Price and Anne Muir in the bottom half of the draw, waiting the winner of the other quarterfinal, excuse me.
And the singles continue here, Brendan. Another, as we saw then on the 14th end, yet another single, which now gives us last 7 ends now have all been singles. So literally 50% of the match has been just singles scored. So that highlights how tight the ends are here as we play end 15 with Selena Smith holding the shot low of the jack. Two very short bowls from Craig Merrill's with his first two.
There's been very few opportunities over the course of those ends for big numbers to be scored as well. And when there has maybe been just a glimpse of an opportunity, it's quickly been shut down.
Certainly has. And here now is Selena Smith on her backhand. Just sit out slightly on the wide side, coming back now to the centre line. And definitely B2. Of course, playing very much a full-length head.
Yeah, which has been the theme, really, of this quarter-final. Both sides have played quite full length. The mat's a bit further up on this end than previously. The mat previously had been all the way back 2 metre mark, and we played almost ditch to ditch. There's been very few short ends, been more that middle to long throughout this quarter-final, which is reaching its conclusion here. Who is going to get through? It's still very much up in the air. Will it be Craig Merrill's and Claire Hendra, Southland and Wellington bowlers, or will it be Baggery-Howley and Smith out of Southland and Auckland? All bowls 3-5 players. 3 represent the Gore Rams, Merrill's, Hendra and Baggery-Howley, and Selena Smith, Stoke Thunder. Part of that Stoke Thunder side, of course, which won in 2019. Gore Rams had a great season last year, falling just short of the final. Which of course was won by the Stokes Valley Vipers. He had Stokes Valley connection as well here in these mixed pairs quarterfinals at the Summerset Nationals. Fortunately for Jean and Cherie Bryan, though, their run has come to an end. Had a great performance with Cherie Bryan still being a junior bowler. Beat Robbie Bird and Val Smith in the quarterfinals as we almost lose our screen. A big gust of wind coming into our commentary position.
So,
well done, Kevin.
It's the Begley-Howley combination who's certainly holding shot. Is Sheldon Begley-Howley falls short.
Wasn't too bad, just give it a wee bit more air.
And this is the big end, of course, the 15th end, only one, the penultimate end. And it is that Merrilees-Hendrick combination who are leading 12-11.
This isn't going to add to the count. In fact, it's going to go and find its way in the ditch. Collected by Merrilees. Begley-Howley with his penultimate bowl of this penultimate end. 2-4-2 format, of course, mixed pairs if you're new to it.
And important now for the Merrilees-Hendrick combination. They get a bowl into the head. They're three down.
And potentially even 4 down, with the back bowl being Begley-Howley's as well. And given that Merrilees and Hendrick so far have been either short or in the ditch with theirs.
So it's imperative here that
Merrilees is more interested in this one, I think. It's found its way through the port. Yes, it has. What a bowl from Claire Hendrick. Just what was needed. High five from Merrilees. Great bowl from the Blackjack squad member. A fellow Blackjack squad member, Selena Smith, looking over the head. I think relaying information to Sheldon Begley-Howley, her playing partner, that you can still play through the gap. Begley-Howley made his way halfway down the green to get a bit of a closer look. So he now plays his last of this 15 end. One end to play after this in this mixed pairs quarterfinal.
There's a big bowl there from Claire Hendrick. Is Sheldon Begley-Howley not quite going to get past the...
Yeah, just needed a bit more weight on that to move that bowl into the head and grab shot back. Claire Hendrick's red bowl, pink bowl, holding shot. Great final bowl from her. Now it's up to Craig Merrilees and Selena Smith, the last 4 bowls of end number 15. See Roger Stevens in the background there, just behind next to the Alexandra club members. And now one of our cameras in the previous shot. He's through to semi-final, awaiting the winner of this quarter-final. Bronwyn Stevens also making her way by. They'll be interested in observers and how this finishes up. Release.
Good attempt here from Craig Merrilees, just trying to hasn't got the weight to get through. Limited options here for Selena Smith. Indication is from Sheldon Begley-Howley to try and reach up through the bowl. There's a lot of bowls in front of the shot bowl though.
There's a wall here, isn't there, really?
Lower the jack makes it difficult.
Yeah, very tight margin to get through that wall. Other options to try and go round. You could be absolutely perfect with your weight.
So here now is Selena Smith, who needs to play really with reaching weight on her backhand, and that's exactly what she's doing with weight. It's going to be wide of the target there.
One of her bowls comes through the head but doesn't touch anything. So holding one. Merrilees and Hendra.
I just wonder, Brendan, whether the opportunity may well be on the other hand to try and get to on the draw the other Selena Smith, which I think is the Selena Smith bowl low of the jack. See the bowl there, just there. That is her bowl. As we watch this bowl of Merrilees. And now looking to see. There's a fine line shot to play in between the low bowls of...
Yeah, you'd think the forehand draw would be, and if you do get narrow, maybe you can move to, as Bagri Howley sat on the previous time with that Selena Smith bowl, would be maybe the more higher percentage play.
And the other reason, no disrespect at all to Selena Smith, but she is primarily a draw type player.
You play to your strengths, don't you?
You do, yeah. This is it. You've got to thread the needle here on the run, playing it with less weight. This time, no, is Smith, and that's going to go under the head.
So 1 down. So Craig Merrilees and Claire Hendra now leading by 2. 13-11 over Sheldon Bagri Howley and Selena Smith as we get ready to play the 16th end of 16. Unless Bagri Howley and Smith come up with a 2 here, this will be the final end of this singles. Incredibly close contest. Yeah, that's just amazing, isn't it? After 7 ends, when it was 9-7 to Merrilees and Hendra over Bagri Howley and Smith, we've only seen singles scored.
Well, a 3 on the first end, Craig. That's been, other than that, the biggest it's been has been 2 shots right throughout the whole game. 1 shot, all square, 1 shot, 2 shots. So there's been nothing in it, and there's still nothing in it really as we go to this last end, as we see Claire Hendra bowl come up very, very short now. Yeah, Sheldon Bagri Howley, take your time, no doubt, on the back end. He'll be wanting to draw as close as he can with his first to put the pressure on right from the outset. Breaks down towards the jack now. Just going to go by with a bit of weight by about a metre. Craig Merrilees, the coach of Claire Hendra, saying come past your own, or to me I'd be correct, go to the back end, nothing there, and try and dominate the head by getting the shot close early on, leading 13-11. Make the opposition score. You can dominate the head by getting close early on, but this is going to go by with weight, come down past the 2 metre mark, down towards the 2 metre mark. Plenty of room to draw as Sheldon Bagri Howley will play his last, well, not his last bowl, but he'll play his first bracket of 2 bowls, and it's got weight on it too. He knows that. It's going to go down towards the 2 metre mark.
Perhaps a bit nervy opening start from both players, knowing it's the 16th end of 16. Hendra and Bagri Howley, not what we'd seen from them previously. Usually at least one of them would be right on that jack. Bagri Howley, too much weight. The mat is a long way up.
Yes, it is.
Jack, it's not all the way back either, so it's a slightly shorter end. Still not short end.
So Craig Merrilees now, Southlander. He'll endeavour to play well on that backhand. Get as close as he can. His first bowl, as no one has yet. And Claire Hendra urging this bowl on. And may well be... well, I can't quite see. Claire Hendra's obscuring the head right now, and you can see there both the bowls are, all the bowls there, 1, 2, 3, 4, in behind the head. One very short one of Claire Hendra's.
Seems to be a bit of a trend when the game's getting tighter. Players obviously forget about the cameras, which you can completely understand.
Selena Smith come up short. Indication from Claire Hendra, you've got a metre to draw close.
There's fans outside the fence taking a keen interest in this one. course, and able to allow many into Alexandra Bowling Club today. Pretty much restricted just to players and officials because of COVID alert level 2 restrictions. Again, short. It was urged on. You can see when it was halfway down, it was being urged on. That was a clear telltale sign that Claire Hendra didn't think it was going to have the weight, and it does finish up short.
So on the backhand now is Selena Smith. You see the hand pump.
Who's going to be the first to get on the head?
Too heavy. She knows that.
Is she going to get this piece of the jack though? No.
Well,
someone's going to be the first one. Who's it going to be?
For the Smith-Bagri-Howley combination, really, it needs Selena Smith with her last bowl of 4 to draw the shot close. Of course, a lot depends where Craig Murray's goes with his 4th bowl and last bowl on this, the 16th end. We'll see it come to rest in a minute. Runs into his own bowl. It's getting very tacky, that head now.
He's still got one more to play.
And it's Selena Smith's got to come past a lot of short bowls now to get the draw back to the head. And how far is this bowl going to come back? If it gets past the front bowl, it's got too much weight.
Yeah, this is what pressure does, doesn't it? And nerves.
Well,
we haven't seen this very often. This is probably the worst looking head we've seen of the 16.
And now Sheldon Bagley-Howard has got to draw 2 shots to get to an extra end.
Unless they kill. We haven't seen a kill yet, rather surprisingly.
No, we haven't. It's a difficult head to drive at as well because there's no bowls leaning around the jack. There's quite a bit of room. Craig Merrill's. And will he really want to get close? I think so. Well, he's not going to with this bowl as well.
Well, if he's close, he wants to be in behind the jack, doesn't he? He doesn't want to be short. Doesn't want to give them an option to play to, or play off.
So Selena Smith's just got to concentrate on getting him within a metre. And that will at least put them in with a chance. How far is this going to come back? It's on that wide side, getting past those front bowls. Doesn't have the weight.
Short. Yeah.
Well,
thinking time for Sheldon Bagri-Howley. He's like, there's not really anything I can play off here.
Well,
just have to simply draw, isn't it? What are the other options?
Well, they don't have third shot as well. That's the... Well, really, they've got no bowls close to the head.
It's hard to know who has shot, really. Yeah. Merrill's now having a look. One of the Selena Smith bowls is short of the head. That, well, could be shot. Or the back jack level bowl of Craig Merrill's. But nothing was within a metre and a half.
Well, if the Selena Smith bowl is, let's say, its second shot, that's where Sheldon Bagley-Howley's got to play to try and get to that bowl or draw inside. The first thing he's got to do is draw the shot.
He does have the last bowl of the 16th end. So that's Bagri-Howley. Claire Hendra playing her
tight out of
third.
the hand.
If it gets the jack, it might be all right because they've got a couple back there. It doesn't.
But that's not all bad where it's gone to because...
I know, if there's any movement of the jack, they've got all the bowls back there to Merrill's and Hendra.
So that's certainly not all bad at all where that bowl has finished up, that bowl of Claire Hendra's.
There's a bowl, of course, of Bagri-Howley's, a couple of Bagri-Howley bowls there too, just beyond those of Merrill's and Hendra. Purple and white bowls you can see, which were his first 2 bowls.
Still think he's got to draw 2 shots to get an extra end. And pondering where to go. And we certainly haven't seen a head like this, Brendan, in the 15 ends played. Seen nothing like this at all. So on the backhand now is Sheldon Bagri-Howley. Trying to draw to get to the shot or get the jack. Goes by very quickly by, in fact. So
now he has very few options, depending on what Hendra plays here, unless she gives him something to play with. If you're Hendra, you just leave it, almost. You just play in amongst these bowls that are starting to collect here for Bagri Howley. You got the three purple and white bowls and 2 Selena Smith bowls, I think, as well.
Well, where they've got to come to is they've got to come back down to where these bowls are, the 2 Selena Smith, but that's where Craig Merrill's is pointing.
Yeah.
Because without any shadow of doubt, the jack is what Sheldon Bagley Howley will be going for, because there is a nest of bowls down there.
And if he can convert, it's not just tying the game, it's winning it.
That would win the game down there. Have to get the jack clean. Very, very hard shot, but at this point of the game, with very little options available. So you can see there, I can see there's 2 bowls of Sheldon Bagley Howley's, and there's 2 bowls of Selena Smith's. So the jack in the ditch is, unless that's gone in the ditch, I don't think it did, that bowl of Claire Hendra's.
If it didn't, it was very... Yeah, no, it didn't.
Still alive.
So it's still alive.
So it's the jack back about 1.5 meters to that catching pen.
He wasn't too far away with his first. Can he make the adjustment with his second attempt of this? This is the match right here.
Under.
It looks under the line, doesn't it? And that should do it. It's shake hands time. And it's Craig Merrill's and Claire Hendra, who are through to the semi-finals to take on Bronwyn and Roger Stevens this afternoon. They take down Sheldon Bagri Howley and Selena Smith in what was a very hard-fought, tightly contested quarter-final of the highest quality, really. That was the scrappiest head we've seen. But other than that, a number of very, very tight heads played. And in the end, they did just enough, Craig Merrill's and Claire Hendra, to get the better of Bagri Howley and Smith.
Well, just to highlight how tight the game was, Brendan, 9 of the 15 ends were singles. So that certainly highlights. And they were very, except for that last end, they were all very, very tight ends to score on as well. So it was just that... Merrill's and Craig Merrill's and Claire Hendra got more singles than what Selena Smith and Sheldon Bagri Howley did, and the disappointment, no doubt, to the Smith Bagri Howley combination was how in that last end they couldn't capitalise to get into that position to be able to force an extra end or get the win, but not to be. So Craig Merrill's and Claire Hendra continuing on her very consistent performance that we've seen. They continue on to the semi-final this afternoon. And of course, we'll be bringing you live semi-final this afternoon, and updates, of course, from the other semi-final, which will get underway at around 12 o'clock, I would imagine.
Yeah, indeed, and I can let you know as well, just before we finish our coverage here, the final semi-finalists are Laurie Guy and Sarah Tokumore. They have beaten Nick Butter and Tracy Clark. It was 16-10 the final score. So Laurie Guy and Sarah Tokumore from Victoria are through, and they will face Paul Price and Anne Muir of Northland in the semi-finals. The other semi-final will see Craig Merrill's and Claire Hendra take on Bronwyn and Roger Stevens. We'll be back shortly here on Sky Sport Next to bring you a semi-final of the Summerset National Mixed Pairs.